Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Boxing Coalition. My name is Cam, and joining me tonight, MV Chu, Daniel Lim, Hamada and Leon will be on shortly. Hope you guys are well. A lot of boxing this weekend, quite a few cards. The biggest fight for me was the Nick Blackwell versus Chris Eubank Jr. fight. Really exciting fight to watch, albeit one-sided, but it kind of ended with the controversy of Blackwell's injury. Chu, what did you think of the fight, and should it have been stopped earlier? Could the ref have stopped it? Could his corner have stopped it? What's your thoughts?
Great fight. Not as competitive as what I thought it would be, but what can you do? Prayers to Nick Blackwell. I hope you get well soon, man. You're a warrior. You're a G. You went out on his shield. I hope he's alright. And I'm sure he will be, because he's a fighter. Eubank, beast. Absolute beast. There can be no more doubts about Eubank. That was his best competition outside Billy Joe Saunders. And let's be honest, he outclassed him. Should have been stopped round 7. Just about the time when Eubank was going for his combo breaker.
Street fighter.
Street Fighter, his Killer Instinct Super Nintendo move. I love the fight. I've got to say that I thought, even though that Nick Blackwell's got a serious injury, you still need to dissect the fight. Dissect the lead up to the fight. I thought Nick Blackwell kind of painted himself in the corner with his comments on the lead up to the fight, saying that he's going to make Eubank quit. That when Eubank lands his best shot, he's going to be standing there on his feet, right in front of him, and asking the question of Eubank once he lands his best shot. But I thought by saying such comments, you kind of gave your corner no leeway to put yourself, to bring him out of the fight. You give yourself no leeway to get out of the fight if it all goes pear-shaped. It's almost as if, man, that would be really embarrassing if I pulled out of the fight after saying that I'm going to make Eubank quit. And that's a tragedy, but it just goes to show, man, there's nothing wrong with quitting. I think boxing fans, and myself included, we need to fucking realise that these guys' lives are on the line. Literally. Therefore, if a guy wants to, call it a day and fight another day, they should let them. Just one more thing, I thought the referee, everyone wants to shit on Howard Foster Jr. Howard Foster Jr. saves lives. Victor Loughlin, he's for the Steve Smoger mould. He just wants to fucking fight on until one guy is just physically fucking fucked.
No, I disagree with you. I think Lockwood's one of the best UK referees. Loughlin, sorry. And I think
what happened to him?
I think just Nick Blackwell being the champ, and he has come from behind in fights to win. I think he would just give him the benefit of the doubt most of the time. I personally think it should have been stopped earlier, but I don't like laying blame on people. But I think maybe Gary Lockett, Blackwell's trainer, should have just stopped it. Some of his corner work, he was saying, you missed the opportunity there, you need to do more. I think he should have knew that. He was taking too much punishment. Like if you go back and count the amount of uppercuts he took, it was ridiculous.
I completely agree. He took far too many uppercuts. He just took too many shots in general. His face was not a pretty sight. If you're getting hit clean that many times, then it really begs the question, the corner work. But you've got to blame the referee, Cam. I totally disagree with you. Totally disagree.
The thing is, Chu, if you would have stopped it earlier, we would have so much controversy. Or did the fight get stopped too earlier? I think the hematoma grew above his eye. It gave him the perfect opportunity to bring the doctor in, and give the fight a chance to get stopped. It's quite interesting because I watched the fight back today, and during that 10th round, there was someone in the crowd shouting out, "Eubank, come on, ref, stop the fight." So that may have played a part in Victor Loughlin, stopping the fight and bringing the doctor over.
That's because it's obvious. It's obvious. Everyone in the crowd. I was watching Twitter at the same time, and you had guys saying that, fucking Howard Foster Jr. would have got him out of there. That other guy would have got him out of there. It's just, I think. See if it's a shit undercard. I think it's dangerous for the main event. Because if it's a shit undercard and it's been a shit night in general, I feel almost as if the referee just wants to let the main event go to the death almost.
Let the ticket payers get value for money.
Exactly. And that's really why you should always have a good undercard in case you have to get the guy out of there early.
That's actually a fair point. Let me get Dan's opinion. Dan, did you see the fight? If so, what do you think? And what do you think about the stoppage? Should it have been stopped earlier?
Yeah, I saw the fight. Definitely the best fight of the weekend. I like Chris Eubank from an entertainment standpoint. I thought the fight was going to be a lot closer too, because I saw the Billy Joe Saunders fight before watching this fight on Saturday. And the thing with stoppages is there really is no right answer, I think, because there are so many different parties that can make that decision. But if I had to lean towards either one of your guys' opinions, I would lean more towards the ref, because the ref really, by definition, should be the neutral observer and really does have the best seats in the house, so to speak. And for me, watching Blackwell's head just get bobbled and the way that his head just reacted towards Eubank's punches, especially in that 8th round where his head was just flying all over the place, that to me was a very uncomfortable sight, and I would have stopped it right then and there, no questions asked.
That's a fair point. You agree with Chu, but I can't really disagree because the ref does have the best seat in the house. I just don't know, man. I thought Lockett could have done a bit more, but Hamada?
I agree with you too. I think the trainer has a responsibility as well. I don't think. Again, I know you mentioned that Blackwell put himself in a hole, so to speak, in the lead up towards the fight, but to me, it's the trainer's job to take on that burden of responsibility upon yourself. The fighter can talk all the shit that he wants, but it's the trainer's responsibility to look out for the safety of his fighter, because ultimately the trainer isn't going to get that much slack for what the fighter says, right? I mean, if the trainer had made that call, the media wouldn't have really lambasted him. It would have been entirely okay.
No, that's true. That is very true. Hamada, your thoughts?
I disagree with MV2. The referee, I don't think the referee's got anything to answer to. There was no, apart from, there was two spells where Eubank was literally not landing, but he was throwing 30 punch combinations. Other than that, Blackwell kept throwing back. Blackwell was showing that he's still able to continue. There was no knockdowns. It's difficult for the referee, in my opinion, because it was back and forth. It wasn't as though towards the end it started getting a bit too one-sided, but I don't think there was enough to encourage the referee to stop it. I blame the corner, man. I think if Eubank Sr. can spot that Blackwell's taking too much punishment, I think Gary Lockett should be able to, because I think I saw a little clip where Eubank Sr. was telling him he's taking way too much punishment and it hasn't been stopped yet, so stop going to the head and you stop him to the body. I think if Eubank Sr. can notice that, the corner must notice that. Even while I was watching the fight, I put out a tweet, I think after round 7, round 8, saying his corner's got to save him now because he's not going to quit. His corner had to save him. I think the corner completely... They've got a minute in between every single round to look at their fighter and talk to their fighter and be able to analyse how their fighter looks. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I think Gary Lockett's problem was he was counting and hoping on Eubank Jr. gassing, after throwing so many shots, so many combinations, and he was just hoping that hope he gasses, and then that'll be your opportunity. The only issue is Blackwell took so much punishment up until that point that all the snap towards 9-10th round, all the snap off his punches are gone. He did catch Junior a few times quite clean, and they just bounced off because there was no snap left in his punches because he just took so much punishment.
Yeah, it's true, but I can't. Can you hear echo?
No, I can't hear it.
No. Yeah, but I was just gonna say but there was nothing to encourage the ref to jump in and start. Apart from those two occasions where Eubank was literally unloading on the ropes. I agree. Think there was any other.
I agree because at no point was he visibly stunned.
Yeah, exactly. There was none where his legs went and he's about to get knocked out. He seemed to always. He never seemed to stagger about the ring or anything like that. He seemed to always be in control of his senses. That's the most surprising part. When I heard all of this, that he collapsed and all sorts, I couldn't believe it because he seemed fine. Especially when the fight got stopped, he was telling the referee, but obviously the adrenaline's gone then, isn't it? So
he got a fucking chin though, man. He took some shots, and even during like the Street Fighter 20-30 punch combinations, I know a lot of them were landing on gloves and arms, and Eubank was throwing for the sake of throwing, and some of them he wasn't really looking for accuracy, but still though, man, he took some big shots, big uppercuts. Just quickly on the point in the fight, where Eubank was taunting Saunders a bit, and he got caught with that right hand. Do you guys thought he was hurt, or do you think he was just a bit embarrassed a bit? Because a lot of people that I spoke to thought he was hurt, but when I look back at it today, and his gum shield kind of came out a bit, and he got caught in between throwing a big left hook, it kind of looked worse than it was.
No, he wasn't hurt. I just think he just didn't see the shot. He didn't see it at all, and it caught him. It was one of those. I think if Blackwell had a bit more power, I think that punch would have hurt him.
Yep.
But I just think he just got caught. He didn't see the punch coming at all. And another thing that didn't help as well, the referee, is that there was times when Eubank was letting go of these combinations, and then he'll go for a walk.
Yeah.
And he'll take some time off. I think if you kept the pressure constantly, I think the referee probably would have jumped in.
I don't think he could have, man, because he needed that rest, man. Because some of those combinations, I counted one of them. Blackwell threw in between, but still, at one point he threw 50 shots, and loading up on shots as well. And it's like, this guy's he was going for the knockout. I was amazed with his gas tank.
Yeah, and I'm going to be the really unpopular contrarian here, but that's the thing that kind of annoys me about Chris Eubank is I don't think he's very efficient with his shot selection, and I just wish that he would vary it up more, when his opponent is there for the kill.
I disagree. I think he's exciting to watch. His box office. I've watched all of his fights. I've never been bored. I've never not been.
That's my point, though.
What's your point?
My point was his efficiency with his shot selection, not his entertainment value. That I don't question for a bit.
So, efficiency with his shot. Could you elaborate? What do you mean? Like you basically, don't like his shot?
I just don't like his shot selection at times. Like Cam mentioned, he'll throw these outrageous punch combinations, which is obviously very pleasurable for us to watch. But I just feel like if you maybe shoot less number of punches and you're more consistent in really being in your opponent's face with your shot selection, the ref could have stopped the fight. And if the ref doesn't stop the fight, just be more kind of just vary up your shot selection more like Triple G does. Throw away some shots that aren't probably going to land. Just waste away shots so you can set up a bigger punch at the end. Whereas I feel like Chris Eubank, just everything is either 100% or at 0%.
No, and more to like his landing per throw-in kind of ratio, where he'll throw 20, like in that 20-30 punch combination, he probably landed 5-6 punches.
True.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no,
so he's not that efficient.
No, and that's going to cost you against a better fighter who's accurate. It's going to get away with guys like Blackwell. Yeah, no, I'll say this for a little bit later, but the only thing that I was thinking about while I was watching that fight was how would he do against Triple G, and it just left me very concerned.
Forget Triple G. Billy Joe Saunders beats him again.
No.
Without doubt.
No
110% he beats him again.
There's no such thing as 110%.
Yeah, I know, but I'm that certain.
Coming from the Mac Wizard himself, you just got sunned, Hamada.
Nah, but I'm just saying, he can't beat Saunders. No way. How sloppy Eubank was. Like, Eubank looks like a guy that he either just doesn't listen, or he just had no schooling, no boxing schooling, because he makes some awful decisions. It's just he's all over the place when he's in the ring fighting. He's not. I'm telling the truth, honestly. I just don't see when you. Well, obviously we'll get into it later, but when you watch later in the evening, Kell Brook and you watch Andre Wood, they're well-schooled fighters. And then you watch Eubank fight, he's just complete opposite. But even though it's great entertainment, I totally agree. My dad was watching the fight with me, and he loves Eubank Jr. Yeah, I mean, he barely watches any boxing. So, he's so entertaining to watch. He's probably never in a bad fight. Even when he's fighting poor opposition, he makes it exciting with all his antics. So, but I just don't see him being any. A lot of the top people in that division will beat him, in my opinion.
I kind of disagree with you there.
Yeah,
I'll let you go, Chu. I'll let you go, Chu. Let me just say something real quick. I think a lot of the mistakes that you see Hamada are a direct response to the opposition that he's facing. I feel like he takes all these egregious chances because he knows that he's that much more athletically superior than his opponents. And I think to his defense, I think that Billy Joe Saunders was his first step-up fight. So he didn't look that great in that fight, but I think he's so young. I still think he has so much to learn that I think I would pick him to beat Billy Joe Saunders in a rematch.
First of all, I'm just going to load my shotgun. 2 shots, one for Dan. Then I'm going to hide behind my rock and go for Hamada. All right, Dan, first of all, you said Eubank Jr. should be more efficient with his shots. Let me say to you, do you go up to a swan, break its wing, and say fly? Of course you don't. Because a swan is a beautiful creature. And so is Eubank. Just like Eubank B. If he wants to throw 10 punch combinations, 5 of them land, 5 of them don't. Let it be. You know, it's just, that's his style. If you want him to be more like Andre Ward, then I think you're really...
Why did you bring up Andre Ward in this equation? I sense a little bias here.
I know you said Triple G, but I mean, to me, Triple G is exciting, you know? Chris Eubank Jr. is exciting. That's in a category of an exciting
I don't know what
fighter.
point you're trying to make right now, my man.
You're saying be more efficient. To me, be more efficient
like Triple G.
Be more boring.
No. I said be more efficient like Triple G.
No, you said Triple G. I don't get it.
True, I see your point of like him throwing 20 shots is very entertaining to watch because like on Saturday I was just like loving that fight. But on Dan's point, I think what Dan's trying to say is, you know, when you start liking a fighter and you start backing a fighter, you want them to be successful. So he's kind of saying, well, if he's going to want to be successful and he wants to succeed in the industry, he needs to improve on things, because if you do that against a A-level opponent, you're just going to get caught in between.
We're picking holes when there's none there. I thought it was flawless.
No, there's holes there too. Like when he goes back.
No.
How are there no? Hold on. One thing that really caught my ear, Cam, in the beginning of the podcast was that Chu said after this performance, there's no more questions to be answered about Chris Eubank Jr. And I thought he was trolling because there were so many questions that I had after the fight.
Like what?
I don't understand. Again, back to the efficiency, Chu. I think you keep trying to equate how well someone performs with their entertainment value. And the only question that I posed was that kind of style against, like Cam mentioned, the A-level opponents, he's going to get caught in between every 2-3 punches or so. You know, you can't go on punching your way against a top-level guy like Triple G or even Danny Jacobs and not get caught with something serious. And that's my concern.
Let me play devil's advocate, okay? He wouldn't have done that against a better opponent. He had a look at him in the first round. He was behind his jab, first round, felt him out. Then he thought, fuck it, I've got this guy's number. Then he started throwing the combos.
True, but you don't know that.
And I made that point earlier. to my credit, I did say that. I said he fights to the level of his opposition, but at the same time, we can't really make that statement definitively because we haven't seen him make that step up yet. So that's why I'm criticizing him. I mean, I'm making qualifications here as well, but again, I just think his track record doesn't show the contrary. That's the point that I'm trying to bring up.
I mean, we can just go around in circles again. I just want to disagree with that. His last 3 opponents, 3 of his last 4 opponents have been really good fighters. Good fighters. Billy Joe Saunders.
Don't say Jetta was a really good fighter.
Exactly. Come on, dude. The guy that he fought after BJS.
No, I said 3 of the last 4. He fought a bum in between. The Irish fella, Tony
Sullivan.
Jetta. Nah,
Spike.
I'm not talking about Tony
Spike.
Spike O'Sullivan. He's a good fighter.
Yeah.
And also Nick Blackwell. He was a good fighter. I mean, I was anticipating a close fight.
Okay, then let me ask you this: if he fights a Danny Jacobs or a Triple G or a Billy Joe Saunders rematch, do you think he can get away with fighting the same fashion that he did against Blackwell?
I'll stay up, and then I'll let Hamada get in. Okay, Triple G knocks him out. All right, I'm not gonna lie. Triple G knocks him out. He beats Jacobs, knocks out Jacobs, and I think he would beat Billy Joe Saunders.
And does he knock out Jacobs by fighting the same way he did against Blackwell?
No.
Or would he have to make adjustments?
Of course, he would have to make adjustments. I think.
Like what kind?
Okay, if he goes in with the combos, some of these combos are quite winging. They're quite wide. Jacobs is a good sharpshooter straight down the pipe, especially with the right hand. He'll get caught.
And that's all I was saying.
I see your point, but I think
that was the point I was trying to make.
You underestimate Eubank.
No, I don't underestimate his talent. I just want him to vary up, again, his shot selection based on the opponent that he faces. And I think just by the fact that you're conceding to the point that he would have to fight a little bit more, sharper and a little bit more precise, I think kind of lends to that point.
Yeah, but don't most people fight differently against different opposition?
No,
I don't think Eubank can fight differently. I don't think he can fight.
I understand that point.
So this is just whatever.
I don't think so. I think Eubank's stuck in his ways.
Chew, you loaded up your shot.
We're all guessing here. It's just a lot of guesswork, isn't it?
Chew, you loaded up your
If he would have kept Adam Booth. Adam Booth would have got that into him, but I guess that didn't work.
2 egos is not going to work.
Chew, you loaded up your shotgun with 2 shots. One was aimed towards Hamada. What was that point?
He totally missed.
I thought he was still.
Hamada, listen, I think Hamada's trolling me. I don't know. He's trying to say that Eubank Jr. is set in his ways. He doesn't rate Eubank Jr. Billy Joe Saunders beats him. That's subjective. I think that would be a close fight, Billy Joe Saunders rematch. But you can't say that Chris Eubank's not the truth, man.
He's great entertainment. Whether he's the truth or not, I don't think he's the truth, man. I mean, all I could see him doing against Billy Joe Saunders is different.
What does the truth mean?
Yeah, exactly. What does the truth
what does
mean?
It mean?
Exactly. What does it mean?
It means absolute nothing. It's nonsense.
He's everything that he says he is. There's no lies there.
I don't know, man. I just think that all he can do differently in a Billy Joe Saunders rematch is throw more punches. That's it. And Billy Joe slick.
More. No, he could jab more, and his jab is reasonable when he throws it.
His jab drop. He when he throws his jab goes down. He drops his hand after he throws his jab. He moves to his left every time he throws his jab. He will get timed. He will get people. The people at a higher level, the fighters at a higher level, will notice these things that he does in the ring. That me, I'm nobody, and I'm noticing these things. You think these high level skilled fighters are not going to notice these mistakes he makes in the ring? Of course they will, and they will capitalize on it. Billy Joe didn't in the first fight. Yeah, we know Billy Joe gasses, and towards the end it could be a lot.
Yeah. So you think that's a close fight?
Just because Billy Joe tends to gas towards the end of the fight, it can get close, but Billy Joe should win that fight, in my opinion. I just think Billy Joe
is far, far too emotionally attached.
Yeah, but you saw in the first fight. You saw in the fight. He didn't fight with emotion. Did he fight with emotion?
Do you seem like an emotional man on Saturday night?
He might have been, but I don't know, man. I think he proved in the first fight that
you think he was a positive in being in that arena on any level?
He shouldn't have even been there.
He shouldn't have fucking been there.
In my opinion, it seems like he's chasing Eubank.
He's a stalker, mate. He's a stalker, and on top of that, he's a special kind of retard. He's awful.
Okay, Leon, how you doing, brother? You okay?
Honestly, I don't think the presence. If we, it's difficult. First of all, let's say what happened is horrible, and I wish him well. Everyone wishes him well, and what we're about to say now is just all kind of semantics and doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, does it? But I don't think he was like that. Tyson, Billy Joe Saunders, it's that whole kind of crowd baying against Eubank. I think emotionally affected the whole of the Blackwell team. And their hate and desire to win that fight possibly meant he was left in the ring too long. That's how I feel. The whole atmosphere was it was electric in there, but it got to them. They left their man out there too long. But what do I know? But that's just my gut feeling.
You know what it reminded me? It reminded me of like a kung fu movie. And Billy Joe Saunders is like the main guy, and he sent his two henchmen, Spike O'Sullivan. He's the first guy. Get him. Go on, Spike. Spike's going to win this. Spike's going to knock him out. Spike's going to knock him out. I spar with Spike every day. He's got the power. He's going to knock him out. I don't rate Eubank. And then Chris Eubank stops him. Then fucking Nick Blackwell. Everybody's like, yes, Nick Blackwell's got a chance. Get him, Nick. Nick's definitely going to win. He's got his number. If he fights to the right game plan, Nick Blackwell's going to win. I don't rate Eubank. And get stopped. Now it's down Billy Joe Saunders. Now it's time. Now's the fight. Billy Joe Saunders is never going to fight Golovkin, but obviously he wants a payday, so I want to see that fight right there. And I tell you something, I think Chris Eubank stops him.
It's funny.
I've just got here late, but you guys have already discussed, the fact he was left in the ring too long.
Now tell us what you think.
I think he should have been pulled out after 7. He wasn't going to win the fight after 8. It was too long. And
corner or referee?
It's difficult for the referee because Blackwell was so astonishingly brave and
he was never out on his feet.
He was throwing back, and obviously Eubank has heavy hands, if not knockout power. He obviously, he obviously his shots have an effect, but maybe not. He would have been better at getting knocked out in 4 rounds, wouldn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It was just, but it was pretty sickening stuff in those last 3 rounds, wasn't it? It was getting pretty hard to watch.
It was, and that leads me to a question Court Music asked in the chat. You know that kind of section in between rounds where Senior was saying to Junior about don't hit him in the face, go to the body, they've not stopped it, you don't want this to go to points. Now, was he saying that because
we can't say that.
Was he saying that because, he generally thought that Nick Blackwell's going to get some issues health-wise, or was he just saying that because he wanted Junior to go to the body and hurt him to the body because obviously all the headshots were having no effect in the sense of stunning him or knocking him down?
I think when he said he was... What did he say? Was he surprised the ref hadn't stopped it?
Yep.
I think he meant that. I think he meant that he thinks it should have been stopped. But then I think the shots to the head was because he wasn't knocking this guy out. So he thought he might be able to slow him down and get him to the body. I don't think it was, although it does seem like this very, very kind of powerful statement, I think it was a tactical thing. But I think when he said the referee should have stopped it, he meant that, and he believed that.
When I watched the fight live, I actually thought it was tactics, and then when you re-watch it, you could interpret it as, because obviously the whole Michael Watson issue as well, you could interpret it of where he doesn't want him to give him some brain damage. But
that whole thing is, it's because of Eubank. It carries that story, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So if it had been another trainer, it wouldn't have been so powerful.
Yeah.
Or seem so powerful.
Chu or Hamada or Dan, you guys got an opinion?
I think he was worried. I said earlier, I used it in a way like he spotted that Blackwell was taking too much punishment, but I think in a way he was kind of thinking in the back of his mind, Blackwell's promoter is Hennessy, we might get robbed, so go to the body and see if you can stop him to the body. That's what I think.
Yeah, like Beast Mode said in the chat, Eubank thought the fix was in, and he wanted a stoppage instead of points.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I think he feels the fight should have been stopped. Should have been being stopped.
Yeah.
He was probably right. Yeah. So it was a mixture of the two things. He said something that was very genuine and on point, and then he went back to trying to win the fight. It's not this scripture, It's kind of being.
Which I think is another indictment on the referee not stopping the fight. If Chris Eubank Jr., who was watching the fight from the fucking crowd, was able to observe that and be able to speak on that so eloquently and so insightfully, I feel like the referee, who's right fucking there, should have made the judgment call a lot earlier as well.
What about his trainer? Shouldn't his trainer spot that too?
Yeah, but the trainer has a deeper vested interest in the fight, whereas, again, the referee is a neutral observer. That responsibility lies primarily on the referee, in my opinion, in most situations.
Yep.
I think what was quite a poignant thing was that when Spike O'Sullivan tweeted out that he now sees why his trainers pulled him out, and he's glad he did. So yeah, I think that was quite a strong statement from him.
But at the same time, to play devil's advocate, I think a lot of this backlash is much more pronounced and a lot stronger today because of the medical condition that was, prescribed to Blackwell after the fight. I think had nothing occurred to Blackwell, medically speaking, I don't think the outrage would be as strong as it is today.
Yeah, but to say that it's the level of outrage, but we would have all come on here and said that that fight should have been stopped three or four rounds earlier. I don't think we would have changed our view if he had been, if he was at home well now. I still believe we would have felt that fight should have been stopped earlier.
Yeah, up until the 7th round, I had Eubank winning every single round. Blackwell needs a knockout. Is he going to knock him out? No. So get him out of there. But, when Chris Eubank Sr. was talking to Junior in the corner, when he was saying that he doesn't understand why the referee isn't stopping it, you could tell just by the look on Chris Eubank Sr.'s face. He wasn't looking at Junior at the time, and he kind of had a pained expression on his face. He was always talking to the side of Junior, like in disbelief. He was obviously having some kind of flashbacks. I think if anyone knows, similar situations like that, it's going to be a guy like him who's been in the ring when fucking brain injuries have occurred. So I think it's the people saying it was a tactic or a plan or anything like that. I disagree. I think he fucking saved Nick Blackwell's life.
Well, we can't say that.
I think they can be both. I think you guys are both right. I think it was a tactic and it was a game plan because obviously for all of the punches that Junior landed on Blackwell, he obviously wasn't getting him out of there. And what's the one way that trainers always teach their fighters to attack their opponents when headshots don't work? Attack the body. But I kind of agree with you too, Chu, because the way he said it, it felt like he was saying it in disbelief, like he couldn't believe that the ref wouldn't stop the fight based on what he saw. And I think they can. I think the correct answer can be both.
Because I just want to say one thing. Mr. Dermo was saying we're not saying that Gary Lockett was like negligent or placing all the blame at his door. We're just saying, in our opinion, he could have got him out of there earlier. But that's very easy for us to say because we're not in the corner. We're not, involved in the fight game in that way. But so I'm not placing any blame on him. I'm just saying that he should have got him out of there earlier. But we're not going to chastise the man. You think that's fair? That's fair.
Nah, fuck it, I'm blaming Lockett. No, I'm joking. Nah, but no. I did say before I thought it was more on him. I think he should have noticed that the snap's gone off Blackwell's punches. He was getting hit too much. I think he should have pulled him out. Because Blackwell's the type of guy, he's not going to quit. He's too hard for his own good.
It's funny, Gary Lockett said something to fucking Nick Blackwell in the corner, and he says, "Do you enjoy eating those uppercuts?" And at the time, fucking Blackwell's face was just like a rubbery red.
Well, did he actually say that to him?
He actually said that to him. He was like, "Do you enjoy eating those uppercuts?" And I think if you, as a trainer, are going to send out your fighter to the next round after saying something like that, what the fuck? I mean, tell him how to block it with that high guard. I think Richie Woodhall on the commentary made a good point. It's like, if you're going to have that high guard, then you need to prepare for the uppercut and for the punches round the side. I just thought maybe he needs to, if he does fight again, I hope he does, he needs to kind of reinvent his defence, because, you know, Eubank exposed him. Because it's good if you're fighting like a European kind of style, but Chris Eubank Jr. doesn't have that European style. He's very good inside fighter. He likes to throw uppercuts, likes to throw hooks. You know, maybe Blackwell can get away with a guy who's like 1-2ing all the time, but you know, like that high guard, it's not going to work against the elite guys. And it's funny, Chris Eubank Jr. said in the lead up to it that the uppercut would be the punch, and that's exactly what happened.
I hate the high guard because the uppercut is the high guard's kryptonite. You can't miss with an uppercut with a high guard. The only way that the defensive fighter can get away with it is if he has really good footwork, which Blackwell obviously doesn't have.
Yeah, that's why a lot of guys keep like the right hand next to their jaw, and like the shoulder protects the chin with a fucking left hand low, you know, just so you can kind of roll with shit. Even with a high guard, you can't roll with shit because you can't see shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem with the high guard. You're not able to see the uppercut coming. Whereas if you got your left hand a bit low, you can see everything. Your side on, so the uppercut's less likely to even land on you. When you're squared up and you got your hands up, you can't see the uppercut coming.
You can't even generate power that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a kind of wee snap. Like a wee snap. It's good for the jab, but I mean, fuck all else.
And another thing is, like you mentioned, True, it's hard to generate power, and the only way you can really do generate power is when you really load up on your punches, a la Arthur Abraham. So I've never been a fan of the high guard, and it's just a bummy-ass style, in my opinion. And like you mentioned, it only works really effectively against the 1-2, because if you fight a guy who has a lot of variation in his punches and can, you know, hook off the jab or throw, you know, hooks to the body or uppercuts off the jab, I mean, how do you really plan for that if you're utilizing a high guard?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You should tell Joe Gallagher that. That's what he teaches all his fighters.
Sir Joe. Quickly, what's everyone's opinion on what Eubank Jr. does next? Do you think he'll try and win the belt outright? Do you think he'll just move on back to kind of world level fights? Is it Jacobs? Do you think the Billy Joe Saunders rematch will happen?
I think the Billy Joe Saunders rematch will happen.
Any reason why?
Likewise.
Well, it's just because Billy Joe Saunders clearly does want it because he knows it makes him money and he can beat him.
He wants Triple G though.
Well, he talks no shit, and I just think there's so much. It's such an easy sell that a promoter would be mad not to make it. I mean, look at the antics that were going on. I mean, Eubank trolling him from the ring. I mean, it's an easy sell. I mean, whatever you say about Eubank, he definitely brings out a particular atmosphere, doesn't he, in an arena?
I was going to say, if you think about it now, like a lot of his fights, especially his British fights, they've all been grudge matches. Is it just because people hate him and his father? Is it because of his arrogance? Is it just because...
It's the way they carry themselves.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've always been Eubank fan from day one, so, you know, way back when I was a young man. But so I'm always interested in the story around them. But, you know, Billy Joe clearly hates him, and he wouldn't have been there. Why would he have been there that much, involved in that show that much, if he didn't want that fight? It was like WWE shit, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Chu, do you think it'll be the rematch with Billy Joe?
I really don't know what Frank Warren's situation is with the Eubanks. A couple of guys in the chat room are saying that the Eubanks won't work with Frank Warren. I think money talks. Money will make you work with anybody. I'd work with the fucking devil if you paid me enough.
Well, apparently
Frank Warren is
they were trying to put the rematch together, but from what Warren puts out on iFilm is that, you know, the Eubanks are really hard to work with, and they were negotiating for the rematch. Billy Joe says he was offered like 800 grand for the rematch and he turned it down, so not too sure.
Yeah, and Frank Warren's a ray of fucking sunshine in the negotiation room. Fuck off, Frank. You know, if they're all the fucking same, all promoters and anyone who's going to go to negotiation, they're all going to be as fucking difficult as possible, aren't they? It's part of what happens in this fucking sport, unfortunately. So him slinging that mud around like on some poxy little YouTube channel with 5,000 views, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and you know Frank, he's full of shit. He's probably wants options on them because, you know, obviously the WBO belt's his belt, so he's going to want to keep that belt somehow.
Well, we heard about the options and how it's held up Joe Calzaghe's career, so
exactly.
We know what he's like. We know what he's like.
Yeah, so let's not fall for that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'm sure fucking Frank Warren was watching that fight on Saturday in his underground cave, sitting in his fucking black revolving chair, counting his money
with a cat,
and I fucking stroking his cat at the same time. And as soon as he saw the banter between Saunders and Eubank, fucking cash signs just went into his iris. Fucking, I see the money. He's got no stars. He needs a big fight. Who's his biggest star?
Probably
I can't name it.
Probably Billy Joe.
Billy Joe.
Yep, and he's
fighting Max Bersak.
And he's not exactly an easy mould into it. He's not exactly a PR's, wet dream, is he? He's a PR nightmare. So, because God knows what he's going to say next. So, can he be a big UK star? No.
He's a cock block.
He's just got his own very strong views, which he's well within his right to have, but I don't want to hear it. And I don't think a lot of people do. But beyond the hardcore. So can he be a star beyond boxing star? No.
I agree to that. Just before we move on, I've said in the past I'm a big fan of Richie Woodhall, but he was riding Billy Joe's dick a bit too much on Saturday night, I thought.
Yeah, it's because the boxing establishment hate the Eubanks. Always been the way. But, you can't trust a word I say because I'm completely biased, so ignore everything I'm saying, really.
Before we move on, Naota's just about to jump on the line, hopefully, so we'll get his opinion before we move on. Naota!
Yo!
What's happening, man?
Not a whole lot.
He's
I heard you talking about Eubanks.
Eubank.
Lee Scratch Perry.
Say what?
You got a big echo on your voice.
Oh, that's me?
I thought you were in a magical waterfall.
Is it still there?
Nah, it's gone now, man. How's it gone there?
All right. Cool. All right, what you guys talking about? Let me get in.
Chris Eubank Jr.
Yeah, we're just finishing off Eubank versus Blackwell.
Yeah, Eubanks fucked Blackwell up, man. How's Blackwell doing, by the way? I haven't looked at any of the headlines yet. Is he doing all right yet, or what's going on?
He's stable.
That's a damn shame,
so
man.
They don't have to operate on him, so that's one good sign. But I don't think the family's giving any news until he's out the woods, so that's understandable.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Saunders and Fury got that dude hyped up to get beat down.
Exactly.
Eubank looked damn good though. I mean, the thing is, he doesn't look like he's still a little bit wild, but he's improved. He's improved quite a bit. I think he may be able to take Saunders in that rematch if he manages to get it. But
what about Jacobs?
Jacobs would be good too. That would be an excellent fight.
Naota, which fight do you think is closer or more winnable, rather, for Eubank? Either the Billy Joe Saunders rematch or Danny Jacobs?
I mean, I think they're both pretty winnable. I think Jacobs is still more dangerous, though, because of that power. And Eubank is just open enough for Jacobs to land it. And, I mean, Saunders, I don't know where that dude's head is at right now. I mean, he talked a lot of shit, and then he also talks about, like, needing AK-47s to fight Golovkin. So, I don't know, man. I mean, I think I think Saunders may actually wind up being a little more winnable, but Jacobs is a bit chinny, even though he's lived by the gun, died by the gun. So I mean, even as much as he can knock an opponent out, he can be knocked out too. I'd say they're probably about equally winnable, really, in the grand scheme of things. Jacobs
and should we even bring up Triple G?
Well, I mean, Triple G is obviously scared of the most dangerous man in boxing, so I mean, he's not going to take that fight, Lim.
I think if anyone's got the style to beat Triple G, and I'm not saying it would, in fact, I would probably bet on Triple G, but if anyone's got the style to beat Triple G, it's Chris Eubank Jr.
I think he'd be the most interesting fight for him, actually. True.
You're dreaming, MV2, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'd get flattened, but at least he'd bring the gusto. He wouldn't go in there he wouldn't go in there all fearful and like bitch made and like shitting himself, like a lot of these other guys are like, scared before the first punch is even thrown.
See what Eubank's got that excites me is that athleticism, that Roy Jones kind of thing. That I'm on the outside and I'm going to hit a fucking lead uppercut on you and then spin away kind of thing. And I think...
well, I mean, just that style of like swarming you, of different shots and stuff. That's the type of thing that messes guys like that up. I mean, that's what Uma did.
Exactly. What a fucking great point. You should have been on for the start, Neota. Exactly. Uma can't punch anything like Eubank can. I'm just setting the table. I'm not saying fucking Eubank would win. I'm saying in about a year's time, that would be an interesting fight if Eubank keeps developing, knocks out all their other contenders and just leaves two guys in that division that we give a fuck about, him and Triple G. And I think that's going to happen.
And I'd like to see him do that. If he was to go in there, take Saunders out in the rematch, and then like maybe fight and beat Jacobs or something like that. I mean, that would be incredible. That would be an excellent lead up. And funny enough, he'd be kind of doing Golovkin's own job for him, since
exactly. I was going to say that who the fuck does Golovkin fight in that scenario?
Yeah, but the whole thing is, I mean, those fights aren't happening in the first place, though. Too.
No, I understand. I understand. But in that situation, he's going to be fighting Dominic Wade's cousin, then he's going to fight Dominic Wade's mom, then his grandma. Like, what kind of rabbit hole would we be going if that was the situation?
Yeah, I mean, he's already in that rabbit hole, though, to a certain extent. I mean, I think he's going to be in that rabbit hole unless he moves up to 168.
Can you not take
he's a victim
us
of his
down
own
this rabbit
success.
hole? Can you not take us down this rabbit hole now, please, though?
Yeah.
I don't want to go down the Triple G hole.
It was a cursory statement. We apologize. Okay, I understand. I understand.
Since it's bullshit anymore.
I'm sorry, old man.
You can call me an old man. Like, I'm not getting involved in the fucking nonsense surrounding him. It's fucking.
We just brought it up for a fucking second, my man.
It's fucking killing him over there. It's fucking wasting.
Jesus Christ, calm the fuck down.
I'm just saying, man.
Leon just put a whole salt shaker on Lim's steak.
All right, then what else do you got for us, Nathan?
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to like ruin the flow of conversation. I mean, that's pretty much my thoughts on the whole thing. And Brook. I mean, I don't know if you guys covered Brook yet, but
no, not yet. We'll get to that. Get to that. But just quickly, Noto, do you think the ref for the corner should have stopped the fight earlier?
Yeah. I mean, he didn't look like he was reacting right. I understand you want to give your fighter like every chance to win the fight, but I mean, he was getting hammered, just too many clean shots, and I mean, you gotta recognize the signs of your fighter when he's just not reacting the way he should be.
Who do you blame more, the ref or the trainer?
Well, I mean, really, the one that's ultimately most to blame would probably be the doctor, more so than any of them, because I mean, he's the one that should like medically be looking at a guy and saying like, okay, this guy's had enough. With the ref, I mean, it's a little bit tougher to tell unless a guy is like laid flat out. You know, you may get a Steve Smoger type ref. Well, where if the guy's still fucking breathing, you know, he can continue fighting. But the trainers would probably be more to blame than the ref because they're the ones that know their guy and they should know when he's had enough.
It's funny you actually said the doctor, because the doctor's the one that actually stopped it.
No, yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying, though.
Because if the doctor didn't stop it, it wasn't going to get stopped. It probably would have went 12 rounds.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that's the
it's
thing,
one of those,
like,
it's one of those things.
the fucking, Gary Lockett, the trainer, wouldn't stop the fight. The ref wouldn't have even stopped the fight if the doctor didn't stop the fight.
Exactly. That's the craziest thing.
Is it?
Really, the fucking doctor done the right thing. He was the one who only done his job.
Before the ref actually brings the doctor into play, can the doctor step on the apron and say, you know what, this guy's had too much punishment, and stop the fight?
Yeah. The matter of fact, the commissioner can too.
See, I think maybe
That's what used to happen all the time in Jersey when what was that guy's name?
Glenn Tapia?
No. I'm not talking about a fighter. I'm talking about a guy. He was like the head of the commission. He would actually jump in and stop fights when guys were getting just their ass beat and nobody else would stop the fight. I can't remember what that guy's name was though. He was a really good commissioner, and then he got ousted for like some political reason. But.
All right, let's move on. We've covered this for 55 minutes. Lim, you were in the house at the Oracle Arena in Oakland on Saturday night. Your thoughts on the Ward fight, the atmosphere, what the capacity was, all that good stuff.
Hey Cam, are you sure you want to start with this fight or get the Kell Brook fight out of the way first?
I barely want to talk about the Kell Brook fight, to be honest.
Okay, all right, in that scenario. Yeah, I went to the Ward fight. I know I'm going to get a lot of what I'm about to say, even though it's going to be completely biased and kind of objective in my opinion. I wanted the fight because I managed to get ringside tickets for $260, which is pretty fucking insane. And yeah, I spoke with Hamad about this earlier. The only reason why I like watching Ward fight so much is because when I watch a sport that I really care about, I have to see the best fighter or the best athlete in that respective sport, and I have to be caught up in how that person does. That's all. No, the fight itself wasn't that entertaining, to tell you the truth. But the atmosphere was good. It was in Oakland, which is Andre's hometown, obviously. So guys like Steph Curry, who's the biggest NBA player in the States, he was there, and other noted celebrities. So it was a good atmosphere. But the fight itself was pretty generic. I thought Ward looked very good, and I think he's the best current active fighter in boxing. That's all I got to say.
Chu, your thoughts?
Yeah, okay. First of all, you notice the size difference immediately between Barrera and Ward. Ward displayed a great jab, a great hook off the jab. Didn't really throw the right hand much. Like Roy Jones was saying in the commentary, he was kind of waiting for the right hand, even though it was there for him the whole time. But one thing Ward does that kind of reminds me of Bernard Hopkins, and to a lesser extent Floyd Mayweather, he's very good at making the other guy not throw. He's not a KO puncher, but he hits you right in the button. Fast, sharp, accurate. And it kind of just makes the guy he's shot at the speed, shot at the accuracy. And he's like, okay, I don't want to take too many of them. Even though he probably wouldn't get knocked out, but it just kind of makes the guy go into his shell. And it was strange seeing a much bigger guy go into his shell against Andre Ward, who I thought, he could probably boil himself down to super middleweight. It's not as if he looked big at the weight by any means.
He was 186.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the frame, Nyota. I just thought Barrera looked a lot bigger, like muscular-wise, frame-wise.
And the thing is, and I'm so sorry to interrupt you, True, but in this day and age, an 18-pound weight gain, if Ward would have still continued to fight at 168, it really isn't that crazy.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it depends on the fighter, though. Some guys don't bounce back as well as others do with that.
That's 18 I'd say that's about typical, no?
Absolutely.
No, about 10 to 12 is really the average.
I mean,
Basically,
for
if you're
170,
doing 18, if you're doing 18, then you're basically killing yourself to make weight.
no, and that's what most fighters do.
True.
Fucking Canelo goes up 18 pounds and he's a 154 pounder.
Well, I mean, Canelo's not a typical guy, though. I mean, he's a guy that he's one of the kings of draining, really.
All right, but my bad, True. You were gonna finish your point.
Just in regards to the fight, round 3, nice left hook right in the temple. Fucking after that, Barrera didn't really offer much resistance. I thought some people, I'm not even going to mention their name, but they thought had Barrera winning. Didn't even give him a round.
I wonder who that was.
Yeah, I wonder. And someone else said it was going to be a really close fight, and that it was going to be Ward's toughest challenge potentially.
Yeah, that was me.
I really would like to. No, but I'm not trying to accuse you of anything, because honestly, the thing that I give the least shits about is people who go on podcasts and saying, "Oh, I was right. I was right." I mean, boxing is the hardest sport to predict, so I don't give a fuck about that. But I just want to get your take as to maybe how you thought things played out, and maybe a reason why it wasn't as close as you initially thought.
Simple. Ward is better than what I thought he was at that weight. Like, I knew he was good. I knew he had skills all day, but I just didn't know how he would adjust to a bigger guy bringing that pressure. I thought Barrera was going to bring that pressure. He didn't. He froze. Maybe because of the sharp punching that Ward brought. He makes you miss, and he fucking makes you pay. I've got to give him that credit. That said, I think Andre Ward could step on the pedal a bit more. Finish guys. You know, Virgil Hunter was getting interviewed at ringside, like round 7, round 8. And he was like, okay, we're just about to step it up and get him out of there. But, you know what, man? It's like, it's up to Ward. If he's just playing with his food, you know what I mean? Kind of like Floyd would do. And that's great, you know? It's a boxing masterclass. And the HBO commentators were saying they're smarter than everyone else. They're smarter, but they're also safer than everyone else.
But the thing about Ward, though, that I do give him so much credit for is, compared to Floyd, I still think Floyd is probably the better defensive fighter. But Ward is such a great defensive fighter despite being within distance and within range with his opponents, whereas Floyd always uses...
Well, he's actually throwing punches.
Exactly, and Floyd was always out of range most of the time when he fought. You know, he had just the best footwork and the most athleticism in the game, and Ward isn't blessed with those kind of talents, and he still makes his opponents miss at a similar clip to Floyd, which I find just incredible.
I was really disappointed with Barrera. I thought he would offer a bit more. To Chew's point, I think, you know, after Ward put it on him in the first few rounds, dropping him as well, he just put him in a shell, made him really tentative. I've seen him in other fights where he shoots the jab, and he just he wasn't shooting it sharp. His gauge of distance was poor. Like, he was landing short with the jab. And, you know, a lot of times Ward was going back in straight lines, and he would just shoot the jab and lunge in with the right hand instead of, you know, doubling up the jab, stepping in, and then shooting the right hand. And, yeah, he was quite disappointing. I was impressed with Ward, you know, going up, having that inactivity and just kind of dealing with this big dude quite easily. You know, he was kind of out-muscling him on the inside at times. And, yeah, props to Ward. I think he'll fight in between this proposed Kovalev fight. I think he needs to as well. But I think if I had to pick right now between Kovalev and Ward, I would have to pick Ward.
No.
Ooh, I don't think so.
You disagree?
I would pick Ward. I know Kimo said he would pick Ward. I just think when you have two guys...
Go ahead, Dan.
When you have two guys with that kind of style, I think Ward has to worry about less things than Kovalev does. Albeit, the thing that Ward has to worry about is huge, which is obviously that jab and that power. I just think I trust Ward enough to get past that jab and really suppress Kovalev's output.
Chu and Hamada, why do you guys disagree?
Hamada, on you go, bro.
Let me talk about the fight first. I thought Andre Ward did okay. I think he performed well enough to get the win. I didn't see anything great that he did. He neutralized Barrera early, hurt him. I think Ward's from the Super 60s. I think Ward's declined. I don't know about you. I think he's declined as a fighter. I don't think he's the same.
He's not the pound for pound number 1 anymore to me, and he's not going to be.
And I think that shoulder operation is a lot more serious than people think, because he's a one-handed fighter now. It's all the left hand. The right hand is just basically a throwaway punch at times. Not once did I see him fully commit to a right hand.
But Hamada, you really think you can say you're comfortable with saying that he's declined when he's had 2 fights in the past year and a half and coming off a 2-year layoff? Don't you think it's a little bit too early to make that judgment call?
But I think it's because of the shoulder injury. I think that's his right hand's gone now. He's got no right hand now. Literally, he's not once did he commit to the right hand fully. He was using it as a throwaway punch to set up the left hook or the uppercut, whatever. He's basically a one-arm fighter now. What a hand, though. His lead hand is amazing. The way he hooks off the jab, his jab was excellent at times, but I think he's not the same fighter. I think he's kind of declined as a fighter, in my opinion.
I just think that's such a huge jump, and such a jump to make, especially considering the fact that, again, he's fought 4 times since 2011.
Yeah, but things like that does make you decline. Inactivity does make you decline.
Injuries, I understand that, but athletically, he's still somewhat towards the end of his prime, in my opinion. And for me, if he beats Kovalev, I don't know how you can say he's not number 1 pound for pound.
I don't think he beats Kovalev. I don't think so. I think
why not?
The way Ward fights, where he's kind of close, so he's not basically not like Floyd. He uses a lot less legs than Floyd. He doesn't move as much as Floyd, where he's relying on, deflecting shots, because that's what Ward does. He deflects shots with his shoulders and his gloves.
Yes.
When Kovalev hits him, and these shots are deflecting off his shoulder and still hitting him on the top of his head, on the side of it, those shots are still going to hurt him. And Kovalev's got he's got really long arms.
Okay, let me ask you. Let me pose you a couple of questions. Okay, have you ever seen Sergey Kovalev fight on the inside?
You won't need to.
Why not? You won't need to against Ward.
He'll do what he did against Ben Hopkins. He'll keep Andre Ward at the end of the shots.
So you're gonna compare? You're not making a comparison, but you think he's gonna be able to do to Ward what he did to a 50-year-old Bernard Hopkins?
If Ward tries to come in and get Kovalev's chest, that's a really brave game plan, because
that's his only shot, though.
Yeah, that's his only shot, and I don't think that works.
But why do you think that's a game plan? I think that's Kovalev's kryptonite. I think Kovalev is absolutely excellent when he's fighting at range and from distance, but I can't remember a single sequence in a fight where I've seen Kovalev fight on the inside.
He doesn't fight on the inside because he doesn't need to. I don't think he is good particularly on the inside, but I just think Kovalev, he'll find it a lot more difficult than he did with Barrera, because Kovalev's a big guy. First of all, he's a lot bigger than Barrera.
No, he's not.
I think he is. I think he's taller.
Size-wise, he's no bigger than Barrera.
They're the same size.
He's a lot taller.
He regularly weighs less.
Okay, he's taller, first of all. He's got longer arms. And if Ward tries to come in, I could just see him stepping back and letting off with the right hand, and he'll be hurt.
Yeah, but I haven't seen that from Kovalev. I've only seen Kovalev just obliterate opponents when he's coming forward in straight lines. I've never seen him take a half step back or pivot to the right or left and shoot something major like that. I haven't seen that from Kovalev.
I disagree.
Okay, enlighten me.
Okay, first of all, before I get to that point about your step to the side, pivot and then punch, I just want to say I was listening to the Boxing Voice last night. It was actually a great show. I'm actually enjoying listening to the Boxing Voice again, so shout out to them. A lot of the callers made some points regarding Kovalev and his resume. They don't rate Kovalev. They don't rate his resume, saying that what you just said there.
Oh, like Ness?
Like Ness.
Don't listen to that shit. You know what's going on over there.
Nah, actually,
the same bullshit, man.
I actually fucking enjoy a lot of their callers nowadays. They're back on form.
I wasn't sure if you heard my call. That's the reason why I mentioned it.
No, I didn't. I only listened to the first hour. I know you called in later, Nyota. Did you?
All right, but stay on track.
Yeah, no,
We were talking about his resume.
We're
What
getting
about the
the
resume?
back. Okay.
Yes.
You said 50-year-old Hopkins like that's a bad thing. Who has done that to Hopkins in his fucking career? Doesn't matter who old he is.
But again, he's 50 years old, man. And to me, of course it matters how old he is, man. I thought Bernard Hopkins was going to get killed in that fight. I genuinely believe that.
So you were not impressed with what he did to B-Hop?
No,
Fucking
because
legend.
Took every round.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with him and B-Hop, though, is that if there was any fight where you might see an opening for Ward to take advantage of and just stretch that advantage out over 12 rounds, it would have been that fight. Kovalev didn't give you 1 second of that.
Yep,
Or Hopkins
exactly.
didn't give you 1 second of that.
That's the template of how a
But-
Ward fight would go, in my opinion.
No, that's the thing. To me, you can't even make a comparison between a 32-year-old Andre Ward and a 50-year-old B-Hop, dude.
Well, I mean, Ward
No
is certainly
fucking way.
is certainly more able, but I mean, I didn't necessarily get my thoughts regarding this fight out here. But I mean, did any of you guys see Ward's face after the fight?
Yeah,
And
can I
did
just
you
say,
hear
Ward
his
got
interview?
hit.
he got hit.
He got hit quite a bit,
So-
and he himself was disappointed in his performance. I think he knows that he may not be as good as he was before, or on this night he wasn't as good as he was before, or maybe Barrera is just better than he
Let
thought.
me just say one thing. I think Ward, by the very nature of him grading and assessing himself, I think that's a statement that lends me to believe that he feels strongly that he can improve. It's not necessarily that he feels that he's worse than he once was, but he's at this current stage, he's not as good as he once was back in his prime.
Well, and I agree with that too. I agree
Yeah,
with Ward. Ward has that Bradley mentality where he's got this will probably galvanize him to work even harder before the Kovalev fight.
Okay, but I'm so sorry,
But-
Nate. Can I cut you off just for 1 second? I know Leon, he sighed a
go
couple of times, so I want to hear what's the big deal? What's up?
Sure.
I was just saying, you said you'd never seen Kovalev take a half step back and throw a punch.
Mm.
Well, when Bernard Hopkins tried to rush in to spoil, Kovalev took a half step back and knocked him to the ground. So
I'll rewatch that fight.
Rewatch it.
I think there's
I just did.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm sorry, Nate. You're gonna say something before I cut you off there? My apologies.
Well, I mean, just the whole thing is, it's all good, man. The whole thing is, I mean, I thought Barrera nicked a few rounds off of Ward. I thought his jab was landing quite a bit on Ward, and one of Kovalev's best punches is his jab. I mean, he knocked the guys down with his jab. He was rocking Pascal with every jab he landed on him. I think the one weakness for Kovalev going into that fight is his balance. Kind of like Barrera, I could see him getting hit with one of those shots and getting knocked down just all due to poor balance on the inside. Like you were talking about, his balance, especially on the inside, is a little bit iffy. It's like he gets way up on the balls of his feet where he's not planted. And then, aside from that, though, I mean, I still see this as a 50-50 type fight, but I edge just a little bit towards Kovalev because when I brought Ness up, the only reason why I brought him up is because he was kind of strawmanning my argument when I called in, and he started talking about look at their resumes and all that stuff. I'm like, well, I mean, you weren't saying that when Hopkins was going into that fight with Kovalev, and the whole thing is, I mean, Kovalev has been improving with every fight. Kovalev going in against Hopkins was supposed to be a flat-footed caveman bum that was going to get outboxed, and he went in there and schooled him for 12 rounds.
It was meant to
And
be.
then-
To my credit, though, leading up to that Hopkins fight, I wasn't giving Hopkins much credit at all. But at the same time,
I know
by
you weren't.
by the same virtue, I rated Kovalev much, much higher than most people leading up to that fight as well. Like, I know Kovalev is good. I know he's very skilled.
I know you weren't. But I'm just talking about in the grand scheme. I'm not necessarily, trying to rebut your argument directly.
Another
But,
thing
I mean-
Ward's work rate was quite poor, I thought. There was times where there was opening there for him to throw more shots where he wouldn't. And Ward tired. Did you not see 11 and 12? Ward was tired.
Yes, I agree with you there, but I think that alludes back to the rustiness
Inactivity,
and the fact that we know that he can get better based on what we just said.
Ward, if anything, Ward has to take another fight. And he can't take another
I agree.
fight against someone like Paul Smith. He has to take another fight against someone legit. Someone that's going to push him.
Yeah, it's in his
because
best interest.
Yeah, it's in his best interest. If he goes into the Kovalev fight next, he gets beat. Definitely.
You know what's so interesting though, Hamada? I was just looking at that weight division today, and there's really no one that fits that mold outside of Adonis Stevenson or Beterbiev, obviously. But you know those two fights aren't going to happen. So
Bevo.
there's really no,
Bevo.
My man, I just knocked his ass out in sparring today, so he's not going to be
Aledo
ready.
Alvarez.
Oh yeah, Alvarez isn't a bad name actually.
Isaac Chilemba. Who beats Isaac Chilemba?
He's not bad either.
I just think it's pretty difficult. But yeah, before we go into that, I still want to get a couple of other people's opinions on the fight. I don't know if I should even ask Leon, because I think Leon told me that he was only able to manage to watch 4 rounds of that fight.
Yeah, I think you should skip Leon.
Okay, what about you, Cam? Anything else you want to digress on?
Apart from what I mentioned earlier, I just think the fight did get boring towards the mid to the end rounds. It went on that long. I was thinking, is this a 15-round fight? Because it looked like the graphics on screen were getting changed, because the fight wasn't ending while I was watching it. I actually watched it today. I didn't have time to watch it before today, and it just went on a bit too long, and there were a lot of lulls in action. And I think Ward, I don't know, do you guys think that uppercut, well, that low blow uppercut was just tactical and he did it on purpose, or do you think it was just a misplaced shot? Because I didn't think he needed to do it if it was a tactic, because it wasn't really a dirty fight up until that point.
I mean, he did it more than once, so, and
It
he also hit after the bell about 3 times. So I mean, I don't know. I think Ward was feeling like Barrera was giving him a little bit more resistance, and I mean, there's a possibility that it may have been incidental, but there's also a possibility that that may have been know your fucking role, basically.
Yeah, Ward has that nastiness, which I don't think he needs. He has that nasty streak.
Ward's a dirty guy, man. He's a dirty guy, man. He done it on purpose.
But that's also why I kind of respect him, man. And that's why I kind of believe that even against Kovalev, even if Kovalev does fuck Ward up with some crazy shit in the first 2-3 rounds of that fight, I just think Ward is he just has that dog mentality that he's gonna make it the fight dirty as enough as it needs to be for him to win that fight.
I think he has to spoil it to win it.
Which he will do.
Which he will do.
He's that type of motherfucker.
Yeah. Which is why I can't watch him. I don't give a shit. The only fight I want to see him in is the Kovalev fight. I watched 4 rounds of this, and you knew he was going to win. And it doesn't take away from him. He's a very good fighter, and it's a very good win. But do I want to watch it? No, I don't want to watch it.
The 2 main wild cards is how Kovalev reacts to Ward on the inside, because we haven't seen a whole lot of that, and how Ward reacts to Kovalev's power, if and when he lands. Because we definitely haven't seen much of that. I mean, I know Kovalev's going to be able to take Ward's punches, no problem, because, I mean, he took Pascal's, and Pascal's a bomber.
And the thing is, I know Carl Froch isn't nowhere near as good as Kovalev is, especially with the size difference, but I think Ward is going to utilize a similar game plan, and just the way that he was able to really cut off Froch's range in that fight and really make it a full inside contest, and for him to be able to outmuscle a very, very big guy in Carl Froch, in my opinion. I see that translating towards that fight against Kovalev.
I see where you're going with that, Dan, but the thing is,
on a lower level.
What Andre Ward was doing against Carl Froch was he was taking Froch's jab away from him. He took advantage of Carl Froch's very low hand. Basically, he was just taking that jab away from him, taking a wee step to the side, and then kept landing that left hook. One thing I did notice in the Pascal fight, that every now and again Pascal would land a fucking kind of sweeping hook on Kovalev. Not often, but enough. And I definitely think that in the Ward fight I just saw, his left hook looks like fucking Oscar De La Hoya's now. Obviously, not having a right hand means you can only really practice your left hook. But his fucking left hook looks beast-like. And I definitely think it's, if he can knock out or even hurt Kovalev with that left hook. Yeah, I've never really seen Kovalev hurt, and I definitely think if you're going to get to Kovalev, it's on the inside. Body shots, left hooks, uppercuts. He's got to take the fight to Kovalev, but I mean, you've got to walk through fire to get that close to Kovalev. He's not going to let you get inside. And I definitely think his jab is fucking miles better than anyone Andre Ward has faced. I mean,
his power's still real on the inside too. I mean, I remember Kovalev landing a very short right hand to Campbell's temple to knock him out, and that was on the inside.
And the other thing I think we're overlooking is this. People are saying, yeah, Ward's got the dog in him, and he's this tough guy. It's like Kovalev's not a fucking ballet dancer. I mean, the guy isn't gonna get scared of throwing punches like this Cuban guy clearly did. At no point is Kovalev going to be scared. To be real too, Barrera. That's what I don't say I'm not picking anyone. I'm not saying Ward doesn't beat him. I'm just saying his tactics of neutralizing fighters are more difficult to pull off in this fight than any other fight he's had before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really, you can make the case that both of them are each other's best opponent so far in their career.
Yeah. And another thing is, I think, like you mentioned, I don't know if it was Naito or Chu, but you're right. Kovalev's jab is going to be the biggest, and I think the stiffest. Wow, that sounded really gay. But it's going to be a huge barrier for Ward to face, obviously. But in the same token, Ward's style. If you look at the past 8 opponents that Kovalev has fought, he's going to be such a dichotomy, not a dichotomy, excuse me, but such a contrast to those other fighters that it just leads to a fascinating matchup, man. This is the fight that I want to see more than any other fight currently presentable. It's a better fight than Golovkin versus Canelo because both of these guys are higher rated together when you combine them. So this is just a fight that I need to see before the year ends.
This is
when really it's a better fight than I thought Kovalev-Stevenson would have been, and a better fight than Ward Golovkin would have been too.
Not better than Kovalev-Stevenson.
Oh, come on, man. I know this is triangle theories, but I'm just throwing it out there for the fuck of it. I think if Ward fights Stevenson, I think Ward fucking shuts Stevenson out, man. I think that's.
I don't know, but it's a better. I think the Stevenson fight would be a more enjoyable fight to watch.
Yep,
yeah,
I
think the better fight. The better fight is Ward Kovalev because they're the higher skill levels. But the fight you'd pay to see first is the Stevenson Kovalev because you're pretty sure someone's getting knocked out.
I just can't pick against Kovalev. Kovalev's power is just too. In my opinion, he's the biggest puncher in boxing. I think he's not even hitting guys clean, and they're going over. He's hitting
I don't know, man.
On the side of their head, hitting up their.
I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for this.
The body, they're going down.
I think Triple G is a bigger puncher than Kovalev is.
No way.
Absolutely, I do. I think if you put Triple G in there with B-Hop at the time that Kovalev fought him, I think Triple G gets him out of there.
No, I think
he's a more effective puncher than Kovalev.
I think he's got a better offense. Like his offense is more varied than Kovalev's, but
he's a better fighter than Kovalev.
Yeah, if you're talking about pure power,
I'd say he's a better boxer than him. But I mean, Kovalev has been knocking over light heavyweights. Golovkin's been knocking over middleweights. That makes a difference when you're.
Can we also say the biggest difference, the real biggest difference is Kovalev wants to fight. Kovalev wants to fight him because he knows.
Very true. Kovalev's not saying, I'll fight anybody from.
Yeah, he'll go to he wants to go to his backyard and beat him up, and that is the difference, and that's a different kind of animal to anyone he's ever fought, and that's why he's a horrible bastard out of the ring probably, and he's a horrible bastard in the ring, but that's why you want to see him because you know he'll take the fight, you know he'll go to Oakland, and you know win, lose or draw, there would have been a fight by the end of it, by the time that's finished.
Leon.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Who has Kovalev one-punched, knocked out?
That's not my point. I wasn't saying...
I know, but I'm asking you a question.
I can't remember. All I'm
he's
saying
not
is
hitting these guys clean. That's why these guys, he's hitting them on their shoulders, hitting them on the side of their head. He's not even... If he catches someone on the chin, they die. They would probably die or something, man, like that guy. Honestly. Honestly, because
hey, that's a good point. That's a good point. Who has Golovkin killed?
Oh, come on.
That's distasteful.
Exactly.
No, come on. But let's.
See, I don't want to see this fight anytime soon. It's just getting to fucking juice up. You know, every time there's a big fight in boxing, there's a depression after Pacquiao Floyd, a wee depression after fucking Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard, after Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, after De La Hoya, Trinidad, there's a wee depression. It's like, fuck, that thing that everyone in the forums, everyone in the podcasts, everyone in the boxing media was talking about, that fight where you've got a civil war, two groups of fans pick sides, and everyone's talking about it, speculating, and then the fight happens and it's shit. And then I
think the reason why you need this fight is because that weight division outside of these two names, and fuck it, I'll just throw Stevenson in there for the sake of it. It's way too top heavy for these guys just to keep fighting these no-name fighters. And secondly, I'd rather see a fight take place too early than too late any day of the week. And that's the reason why Mayweather-Pacquiao failed so epically, was because these guys were on the way ends of their primes, and it just became a fucking circus.
Yeah, but like, this is the only fight that's interesting in boxing at the moment for me. Like, this is there's nothing else that compares.
Why would you want to tease yourself like that? Like, so if you're having sex with the hottest girl in the world, would you want her to tease you for like 12 months and then have sex with her, or would you rather just have sex with her right away?
Of course, I would want to stay away, but I tell you what, when I did have sex, it would be better.
I don't know. I kind of disagree with you. Get
out of here with that bullshit.
But going off of this though, what if they decided to fight each other right away, right next? Like, what do you think about that, man?
I think that's fantastic, man. I don't understand. Like, why are we putting ourselves in the matchmaker perspective and the manager's perspective all of a sudden? Like, you kind of did earlier. In what perspective? In having the fight take place earlier than later?
No. I'm talking about saying that Ward should have another tune-up before Kovalev.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I say that because I just don't think Ward is at his physical peak. And okay, you make a good point. I guess what I'm trying to say is I want these guys to fight at their peaks, and I feel like their peaks for them respectively will be sometime in November when Andre Ward has another tune-up fight. I just want to see two fighters fight at their optimal, shape and their optimal levels, And I don't understand why you would prolong that.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. And see, the funny thing about that though too is, if either of them fight a tough opponent in the interim, I mean, do they take more damage though too? At the same time, like these fights can be traps sometimes.
And what do they gain?
Interim fights. Yeah, exactly. That too.
Like, I don't understand. I mean, I guess if you have them both on the same card and they're fighting different guys and they just completely spark them out, I mean, you can generate some interest, cool. But I don't know, man. But who would they fight though? Like you mentioned, I mean, you can't have them fight bums. And if you're gonna have them fight decent opponents, then like you mentioned, Naota, it might have some long-term ramifications. Like you don't want one of them to get cut. Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like Ward just got cut too. I mean, that's. I mean, who knows when we'll see him again? Actually, now that you mention it, because Ward got cut.
Yeah.
The head clash. But the other problem is, like you were saying too, is nothing for something mentioned in the chat that Alvarez is actually with Heyman. I completely forgot about that because he hasn't been headlining or anything. I know Better Beef is with Heyman, so it's like a lot of their potential, the guys that could potentially give them a tough fight and or be a dark horse upset. Aren't in their wheelhouse.
Don't worry about it. We got Frank Buglioni and we got Nathan Cleverly to send over. So don't worry about it.
I was just about to say Buglioni. He just moved up.
All right, boys. Let me just let me get my boy on for a while.
Long live the king of all kings, and we say, long live the king! Long live the king!
What up? What's Gucci, fellas?
What's Gucci King J? How you doing, brother?
I had to check this quick South Korean ass dude on the line right quick. You know what I'm saying?
Man, get out of here, you bum ass. Go take care of your kid, man.
Hey, what the fuck? I thought you were gonna take me for a ride in the Lexus. Is this the way you receive me? Jesus.
Hey, come on, man. You know how I'm rolling. No, it's all love out here. But what you got to say, man?
Shit, man, dude. Well, I guess you guys checked in already on the Eubank Jr. shit. I blame that shit on the fight. I'm gonna blame that shit on the corner. His corner, man. That's his corner's fault, man. Because how the fuck do you send him out there knowing he doesn't have the knockout power to knock him out, and he was fucking clearly losing really, really bad. That high guard, he was pulling a margarita when Pacquiao was getting that ass.
Yeah,
he was just taking nothing but hits.
That's a good point.
But on the Ward and the Kovalev. Fuck waiting, man. Fuck build shit up. I ain't no promoter.
Exactly. I agree
Give me
with
that
you.
shit right now.
That's what you said,
I don't
man.
need to build nothing.
Nah, he's... Alright, I get...
That is
why
what you said.
Of course it is. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to roll it back. I'm not fucking giving ground.
Cause look,
What I'm saying is...
if they were to fight, let's just say Kovalev beats the fuck out of Ward. Ward beats the fuck out of Kovalev. Like, right after that fight, they could just be like, all right, Stevenson's next. You know, like, fuck the bullshit. Let's go. It's fucking embarrassing that Ward is going to fight Kovalev before fucking Stevenson. Like, that's just fucking bullshit. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's crazy that that's going to happen before the fucking Stevenson-Kovalev fight. Like, that's fucking nonsense.
Well, and to that point, too, is, I mean, like me and Lim were talking about earlier, I mean, even if he did go in against Kovalev next, I think Ward, he has that dog in him to get himself into, you know, the absolute pinnacle of shape that he could get in at this point.
Yeah, and
because
then
he has that hunger for it.
To be fair, man, let's just say even Kovalev won in, like, 11th round stoppage or even decision, and it was a good fight, like, either or lost, you wouldn't be mad at either guy. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's as simple as if it was such a good fight, you could get a fucking rematch right away.
True.
And I am going to agree with Lim. If fucking Triple G would have got what's Hopkins out of there. Triple G would have got Hopkins out of there. But you know what? To be honest, too, I kind of think at the end, he kind of had mercy on him, man.
Nah, not Kovalev, man. This is a sick motherfucker we're speaking of.
But I think he did at the end, man. Like, you could tell, like, there was points, like, when he fucking, at the end, he was literally hurting him. Dude, like, you could see he wasn't hitting his ass as hard, man.
I don't know. I'm always uneasy making that kind of judgment call. Like, I rarely buy into that kind of rhetoric, but I don't know. So who do you think wins the fight then, Kovalev or Ward?
Right now, babe, Kovalev.
Yeah,
by
just
stoppage?
Kovalev, man. Yeah, it would have to be by stoppage because I think Ward is a better boxer. So I don't think Kovalev would fucking go in there and try to play this boxing game with him.
You don't think you could beat him up for 12 rounds? You could just beat him up like he did Hopkins.
No, because it's not like Ward doesn't have any power, so I don't think he would want to sit around there.
And here's the other thing: is Kovalev. This fight is likely going to be in Oakland. Kovalev, I'm sure, would be aware of that. Crowd noise plays a big role in judges' scoring, and every time Ward does anything in that ring, the crowd is going to be going ape shit for him. So,
I don't think it would be. You think it would be in Oakland?
I think so, because I think Kovalev fucked up because Kovalev already laid out his cards on the table. He already said he wouldn't mind fighting in Oakland, and you don't do that in the lead up to a fight. So I would imagine it does take place in Oakland.
But it's just, I don't know how many people. Well, it depends. I don't know. I'm not too big on that, like the seating chart and all that shit. This is a pretty good fight.
Absolutely. The thing that's crazy, though, man, I think we all agree that this is the biggest fight to make in boxing, but I wouldn't be surprised if this fight only does 300,000 pay-per-view. Maybe even less.
Yeah, because this is a fight where, like, more of a hardcore fan would enjoy this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They would give a fuck.
Well, and 300,000 would put it right around
where...
It would put it right around what Cotto Martinez did and, like, Canelo Angulo, so...
Yep. All right, guys, let me jump in.
Which is so unfortunate.
All right, let me jump in.
But make no mistake, like, my bad.
No, I just want to say quickly to your point, King J, about COVID taking mercy on B-Hop. I agree. Just thought either 11th or 12th where B-Hop stuck his tongue out on him and he kind of went after him and hurt him again. I do think that he did take his foot off the gas. But sorry to cut you off. What point were you going to make?
Oh, no, I was going to say that after this fight, like, even if after they fight, even though we'll do low pay-per-view numbers, I think that right after that, their next fight would be big pay-per-view numbers, man.
Yep.
Like if they did a rematch, it would give double or way more if it was a really good fight.
Yep. Jay, you want to stay on the line or you got to go?
Yeah, I'll stay on the line. I'm going to put myself on mute.
All right, let's
you know, something interesting going off of that, though, too, is, you know, they have the 3-fight contract with HBO. So if they were to fight each other next, that would be fight 2 for each of them.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, let's quickly move on. I want to give JoJo Diaz a bit of props. I've seen him multiple times in the past, usually been against either fellow prospects or journeymen, so it was hard to kind of gauge his level because he's not really took a step up. Saturday night was his first step up against Jason Velez, who some people don't really rate. I thought he was like a decent. I think he was rated quite highly with most sanctioning bodies, and I thought he was quite a decent boxer, and really impressed me, man. I think I'd give Velez 1 round. Diaz, my fellow southpaw brethren, lots of combinations, good head movement, good body work, and he seemed to carry, decent power throughout the fight. He's very heavy-handed. He was hurting Velez throughout the fight with like a looping left hand round Velez's guard, and I'm excited. I like watching him fight, and he's in a division where there's a lot of good fights to be made. So, anyone else got any thoughts before we move on?
I thought he did great. I mean, I think he's improved quite a bit since he first turned pro, and he mixes up his offense and defense a lot better than he used to. Before, it's like he'd either be doing all of one or all of the other. And I thought he dominated Velez, and you got to think Velez got a draw against Gradovic, and otherwise had a competitive fight with Ronnie Rios, and Diaz pretty much wiped him out. He didn't lose more than maybe a round of that fight. So, I think Diaz is probably going to get thrown into title contention within the next year. There's some good champions at 126, but almost all those guys are thinking about potentially moving up in weight fairly soon, because most of them either have trouble making weight or they're looking to make more money at 130.
I think you can make the case that 126 is the most stacked division in boxing right now.
Yeah, I'd
say 130 is.
Well, you can go either or. It wouldn't.
No, I'd say 135. I wouldn't say 130. 130 is kind of dead at the moment.
Nah, 135 is dead compared to 130. I can make you 130 real quick.
Yeah, but you're going to name Eastern fighters that we don't know.
Nauta's going to pull some Teriyaki Nakamoka.
Undefeated. He's only 12 years old.
Oh, did you see my video about Senganan?
No, I was just joking.
Oh, no, there's an undefeated bantamweight that's 16 years old in Thailand.
What the fuck I say?
He may be able to break the record for youngest world champion ever if he wins the title within the next year. They may try to get him, try to break Wilfred Benitez's record.
All right. Anyone else see the JoJo Diaz fights? Because we need to move on.
Fuck yeah, man. I just want to say that at points in the fight, dude, he kind of reminded me like a young fucking Marcus, man. Like he would do 2 to the body, then right hook his ass. Dude, like he has some really good combinations, man. And he's young as fuck. He's only gonna get better, man. Totally. And it's crazy that his dad trained him. Like his dad is the one that showed him how to box.
Wow, that's excellent. Yeah,
the only thing that kind of worries me about JoJo Diaz is that I feel like he has a body frame where he might have trouble making 126 moving forward, and I don't think he has enough power to keep some of the top guys at 130 off of him.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think the potential super fight in the future may be the amateur rematch between him and Valdez. And I'm not sure if I like his chances in something like that.
Exactly, I'm higher on Valdez than JoJo.
Valdez punches through the target. Diaz punches at it.
Yo, Valdez is a fucking beast, man.
I was at his media day workout, and the type of combinations that he unleashes during his mitt work is some beautiful shit.
Yep. Anyone else got any thoughts on Diaz? I'll take that as a no. Let's quickly move on to Sheffield. Kell Brook. I know Hamada has to leave soon, so Hamada, take it away.
Great fight, wasn't it?
Epic.
Only joking. Bollocks.
Hey, he looked good, though. He looked good.
Typical Eddie card. It tells you all you need to know is basically, the Sky Sports Twitter page, they put out a tweet saying, everybody switch over now, Kell Brook's in the ring. Because they knew everyone was watching the Blackwell Eubank fight.
You can tell they probably delayed his kind of ring time as well, just to kind of make sure it's after the Blackwell Eubank fight.
Definitely, 110%. Because as soon as that fight finished, I switched it over, and it was like 2 minutes 9 seconds left of round 1. So we knew immediately that that's basically what they did. But yeah, I thought it's hard to tell. I mean, Bizier was appalling in my opinion. Like, I don't look into press conferences and interviews and all that when there's a fight going on. Like, the main thing to me is when you finish the introductions with the MC, and then you speak to the ref, and then you touch gloves, and then there's a 15-20 seconds where your whole corner leaves the ring and you look at each other across the ring. And Bizier's body language was appalling. He looked like he knew he can't win the fight. And then Brook just put it on him, got him out of there quick. I like how he didn't play with the food. And I don't know how Brook makes 147. He looked huge. Huge. His legs were big. His upper body was huge. I don't know how he makes 147. It sounds and looks suspicious to me, but I'm not going to speculate anything. But yeah, I mean,
Billy Joe Saunders speculated. He said on his Twitter that one guy fighting at the weekend was on steroids. He knew for 100%.
He doesn't know shit about shit, man.
Saunders is such a shit talker, man.
Fuck Billy Ho Sanders.
But Brook looked massive, and Brooks just punches so hard. You know, are gonna kill me for this, but no one at 147 stands up to that.
The thing is,
dunk on him, Cam.
I'm gonna say something now which is out of character, but as much as I hate Brook, man, he's fucking good. But it's just a shame to see him fighting guys like this. And yeah, I know it's a mandatory, blah blah blah, but fucking skills wise, man, he's got excellent boxing ability. He's got good power in both hands.
Balance is amazing.
It's just you just want to see him in good fights, competitive fights.
Well, I mean, mandatories are reasonable if you just came off of like 1 or 2 tough fights, but he's coming off of 1 or 2 tomato cans.
And I'm worried.
Yeah, mandatory, so there you go.
I'm worried he's not going to get that fight after in the summer that they're talking about. I don't think he's getting it.
He's getting no fight in the summer.
He needs something, though. He needs something. He needs something big or he's fucked.
He needs to stop ducking Diego Chavez.
All right, look, we got Garcia, who's not going to fight anyone. Then we got Bradley Pacquiao fighting each other, and Vargas. You know, Top Rank's going to keep that in house, that WBO in house. Thurman, Porter, they're fighting in June. So, who's he going to fight in the summer that they're talking about? This big summer fight.
DJ Smith.
I know it's a shit fight, and I know he's been getting a lot of money from Heyman, so it's going to be tough for him to bring him over. And I don't think it's a good fight, but I could see Hearn trying to get Guerrero.
Guerrero. Do you really want to see that?
I don't want to see it, but like you said, for this summer, there's very limited opposition because everyone's kind of tied up in a fight.
You know who's at welterweight now that he could fight?
Who?
Carlos Molina.
Jesus Christ.
The big Carlos Molina, not the small.
You know who Jim Watt mentioned? He mentioned Andrew Berto.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, they would probably wait after Ortiz and Berto. Like the winner. That wouldn't be a bad fight.
Nah, it is a bad fight, man.
Berto Ortiz is like loser goes home, man. That's what that fight is.
You know what I like though, Cam? Sky Sports, like, especially the commentary, Hauling and what they were slagging off Bizier. Like they were going in. Like, I've never seen them criticize an opponent like they did the other night.
Yeah, but it's
Would
just...
you agree?
I agree, but like they kept mentioning, it's a mandatory. It's almost like they were reading from a script that, like, you know, to kind of fool the public. Like, you know, Brooks should be fighting someone better, but this is a mandatory, so oh well.
No, but they were slating him, saying how the IBF need to have a look at themselves. Who are these people that they're putting up as their mandatory?
That was true. Yeah, they did say that. Yeah.
See the crowd who would pay for a fucking card like that. It's like burning your own money. Especially the guys at ringside. They should come to the fucking arena with V for Vendetta masks or fucking the Joker for Batman. Because it's just like burning money. It's sadistic. The undercard was Gary Sykes Gary Sykes is the fucking co-headliner. Are you joking me? Gary Sykes. Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell got schooled his last fight.
And the rest of the undercard,
it
was his last fight. And the rest of the undercard was stuff that should be on Matchroom Fight Pass. It was just like we don't need to see that on Sky TV on a Saturday night.
Jason Gavin should have been on at 5 p.m.
Yeah, that's one of.
Not fucking.
It's one of
not the first televised fight of the card.
It's one of Hearn's worst cards for a while.
He does this often, though. I mean, Hearn hasn't done anything this year. He ain't put nothing apart from Frampton Quigg. The rest of, and even that undercard was fucking dog shit.
Yeah,
he's just got the casuals by the nuts, and he's got them right where he wants them. Apparently, there was a good 5,000-6,000 in the arena for that fight. Oh, that's the bad thing. Obviously, we want to see arenas full. You want to hear a good atmosphere. It translates well when you watch it from TV. But I mean, if you're putting on shit and they're still coming out to watch, it's bad, man. Because it's not going to encourage him to make better fights because he's got the crowd already.
He's not going to put better fights. He's juicing the shit out of Kell Brook.
He's like Bane for Batman.
He's fucking squeezing everything fucking get out of his ass.
See it's ironic that the American fans usually look at the British fight in the British arena and they're jealous of the atmosphere. But this weekend, the tables turned. Like, I'm looking at the Andre Ward fight and I'm thinking, man, what a fucking great atmosphere. The fucking arena's full. The crowd are jumping, they're chanting and shit. The Kell Brook fight, it looked as if fucking someone died. I was like, fucking... It's obviously Nick Blackwell's had a serious injury, so I didn't want to go down that analogy too much, but it was almost like 5,000 of Kell's fans, friends even. He's got 5,000 friends. Why else would they pay to see him fight that guy? I wouldn't pay money to see that fucking fight. It's almost as if they've just rounded up fucking people from Kell Brook's estate as fucking his hometown and just fucking shipped them into the arena. Because, I mean, how could you even sell a boxing fan that, a casual fan that, not even a casual fan, an acquaintance say a casual fan that? That's just fucking disgrace.
I didn't even know who the fuck Kell Brook's opponent was, to be honest.
Leon, you got any thoughts?
No.
Nice and short. Anyone else?
All I'd say is the IBF need to look at who gets their mandatories. They're the problem here. That card is dog shit.
So I just hope they don't duck the next mandatory.
I was going to say, what do people think? He gets a voluntary, and then all of a sudden he can't make weight, drops the belt before Spence.
That's a big enough fight. That's a big enough fight for me. If he can get Spence over here, I'm happy.
I like the Spence.
Well, Spence is rated number 2 in the IBF according to
that shit is not gonna happen, man. That Spence shit is not gonna happen, dude.
But that's the best fight he can get. So if he doesn't get that, I don't care.
Well, Spence is about to be his mandatory, so he's gonna have to take it sooner or later.
He'll probably.
Spence is about to take an L from Algeria, boy. Fuck you mean?
Eddie Hearn loves to take a mandatory.
Pretty boy gang.
Loves a mandatory, Eddie Hearn. Loves a mandatory. I bet when Errol Spence is his fucking mandatory, he won't take it.
Exactly. We're not gonna hear. Oh, we're gonna try get a voluntary. We're gonna try get a unification. It's just a load of bollocks, mate. And I'm just fed up, man. Because I like Brook, and I'm a big believer in his talents. I think he's a really good fighter, but
I do agree.
I just can't watch this bullshit anymore, man. And the worst thing is that he's wasting his prime, in my opinion. I think this is his prime, and it's just being wasted.
And it's fucking bullshit, because I don't know how the fuck, like you said, Hearn gets the people in the seats. I'm just fucking thinking like he gathers a bunch of fuckheads and, hey, who do you guys want him to fight? Triple G? That's who he's fighting next. Mayweather. Fuck it, we're getting him too. What? November.
You know what it is, yeah? You know what Hearn does, yeah? Like, he doesn't sell the fight. He sells, like, he says, oh, it's a night out. So come bring your missus, bring your
Sweet Caroline.
And it's all a night out. Have a good night out. Have some drinks. That's basically what he does.
Chew, don't
And you
pretend
know
like
he's fucking.
Chew, don't pretend you weren't singing Sweet Caroline at Quig Frampton.
You're fucking right. I was getting involved in that. The fucking lovely atmosphere. Honestly, I was fucking feeling that. Touching me, touching. I had goosebumps on my arm. I'm not gonna lie. I was hugging the guy next to me who just happened to be Leon. I was fucking getting involved in that. But one thing, just to finish on this point, Eddie Hearn loves to make mortgage payments for his fighters. Right? If you can't get a big fight, all right, here's one for the mortgage. Here's some bum.
He's paid his mortgage off.
You've got bills to pay. I've got bills to pay. Let's get you in against this bum and let's pay that fucking mortgage off. He's like the fucking TSB.
He will call a card like mortgage buyout one day. It'll just be that.
That'd be the tagline. the tagline for the.
He will call it that.
Class of the closing cost. Right here.
Skills pay bills. So does Eddie Hearn.
That's excellent.
Well, he does have skills, Eddie, and he's the ultimate salesman. I'm telling you, man.
Have you noticed he's coming out with all these used car analogies now? If you're buying a car off the lot and it's got a scratch on it, you take it back and you negotiate. Anyway, let's move on to Luke Campbell quickly. I didn't know up until Saturday night that he's changed trainer or he's added another trainer and he's training in Miami. Did anyone else know that?
No, I didn't know that either.
I know about that.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, he's training with Jorge Rubio. I think Rigo's old trainer and Cuba's amateur trainer, or former Cuba's amateur trainer. It's hard to kind of see if he's made an improvement because the fight didn't last that long. So I guess he's calling out Scotty Cardo because he wanted to add the British title to his cabinet, and he's fighting this weekend.
Yeah, but Joe Gallagher won't take that fight.
And Eddie Hearn was a bit like. Did you notice the way after he was interviewed in the post fight and mentioned Mendy, and they're like, well, yeah, there's the Mendy rematch, but I think we'll go in this direction. So I don't think Hearn really wants him to have the Mendy rematch.
Yeah. We don't want our boy Chew to go through that. Because
I watched the Campbell fight.
Feels those punches. He feels those punches being twins. He feels every punch that lands.
Of course, if the viewers don't know what Leon's talking about, Scott Cardle, the British lightweight champion, apparently looks like MV2. and if you don't see us both in the same room together, that's why, because that's me. But Luke Campbell, I've got to be honest, this guy who was fighting on Saturday, Gary Sykes, he's a British level guy, but he looked about 3 weight classes below Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell looks fucking massive at lightweight.
He's tall and skinny though.
He is, yeah, but he doesn't. I'm worried about Luke Campbell. I'm still not impressed. I'm thinking he's like Kovalev without the power, and that's kind of the whole point of Kovalev. He keeps you at bay with that power. Tough to get inside with a guy who punches that hard. I think guys can just get right into fucking Luke Campbell's face. I think you can roughhouse him like Mendy did. I'm not impressed thus far. Has he got something to work on, like a good template, a good set of skills? Yes, but it's not the skills that are in question. It's his fighting instinct when a guy takes it to him.
But he's not a prospect either. He's like, was he coming up to 29 now?
Yeah, he's not a young guy.
He stayed in the amateurs too long, I think.
I think he's still got the same tendencies. Like he's still
on his toes, isn't he, all the time?
Yeah, and he's not really sitting down on his punches. And even the finish was so amateurish. Like the way he was just winging in the shots, and none of them really had any power on it. None of them really landed. He just overwhelmed him with some activity, and the ref just jumped in.
Yeah, I agree about that. He was just throwing for the sake of throwing.
Stoppage.
Yeah.
See with Luke Campbell, it's like his career has not been guided in the proper way. There's still things he needs to learn, like inside fighting against a guy who will fucking hit you in the balls and hit you everywhere and shit. The only time he's really fought a guy like that was Mendy.
I don't think his body's made for inside fighting, though. He's very tall and long and stringy. His limbs are too long for inside fighting.
It's true. He might not be able to fight on the inside, but he actually needs to learn how to handle himself on the inside. At least learn how to clinch properly, hold, do what he needs to do on the inside, get out from being on the inside. He needs to learn those kind of things.
I agree.
Obviously, he won't be able to actually fight on the inside because, you know, his arms are quite long, so he won't be able to shorten up his punches.
Diego Corrala's arms were long and he could fight on the inside like a motherfucker.
Yeah, but he won't be able to shorten up the shots, especially with his amateur style that he's got. Really and truly, he's entrenched in that amateur style, so I don't think he'll be able to fight on the inside effectively.
I agree.
Yeah, what he should really try to do is get into that little game of initiate a clinch, and before the ref says break out of it yourself, hit the guy on the way out, and then get outside.
Yeah.
Anyone else, or should we move on? Let's move on. Have a break, talk about the Predictions League. Give props to the top 10. Cesar still holding it down, supreme in first position. Mo Intense still in second. Chef still in third. Lamarcus Melville in fourth. Low Country fifth. Claude Bottom in sixth. Boss Up 03 in seventh. Monocle 78 in eighth. Good week for you, Leon.
It's tainted though, isn't it? Horribly tainted.
It is, but you're up there in top 10, so
I got my points in the wrong place.
Basileos in 9th and Johnny B in 10th. Give some props to the people in the chat. Casual Fun, J Speed the A-Side, Tony Yayo, Joey D14, Dean Scores, aka Scorsese, my boys in the chat. Beast Mode, Comb, Marky Mark TMT, Mr. Dermo, Nunez 83, Tico, Court Music, Pinhead 360, RDB 85, Blacksky Mash Joe, Basileos, Kid Galabon, Marcus R, Nothing for Something, Shams 1000, Nafi 1966, Raphael 22, U187, Z334, Nesmatic, Low Country, Die Hard Casual Fan, Lucan, The Compo, Bill Bones 101, Jason 268, Zaha-R, Kamel, and 14 guests. I need a drink of water after that.
Yo, is that Casual Fan from the Boxing Voice? Shout out to him if it is, but he needs to buy a fucking light bulb.
Nah, man, if that's, I'm pretty sure that's just somebody trolling. Because Casual Fan is a casual fan, so.
And if he's in the chat room, get out. You're not wanted here.
That's harsh. You guys heard or read any topics you want to discuss before we just preview next week? News-wise, it was quite a quiet week, wasn't it, really? Nothing really got announced.
Yeah.
I wanted to say about Abel Sanchez. This guy is never going to beat Andre Ward, ever. Every fighter he's got ends up losing against Andre Ward. I know we kind of skipped over that fact, but I just wanted to give away my thoughts are with Abel Sanchez on this sad day.
All right, let's preview next week. There's only really two main cards, one in the States in Washington and one in Liverpool, and I'm going to pull out Ari, and I'm not really bothered about either. Broner, Theopain, I don't really give a shit about. I'm tired of Broner's antics. And the Smith-Mohammadi fight, I'm not really too bothered about that. I don't think I've even seen Mohammadi fight. I might have seen him fight once. The undercard is pretty poor. And that's it, really. You guys got any thoughts about Broner, Theopain?
Well, I think it's probably more interesting in terms of the fact that Broner is on the run from the law, and I mean, Theopain's not a. I think this may be an Emmanuel Taylor type fight, man. I think this may be kind of difficult for him. The undercard for that one is good too. That's a good undercard.
Well,
Jr. versus Mendes.
Leota, why is that a tough fight for Broner?
Because I think Theo Payne is underrated as a boxer, and Broner has a lot of flaws, and I just don't think his head is in it, and I think all this beefing shit is something that's actually going to harm him more than it's going to help him.
All right, fair enough. Theo Payne, he's got a draw against Danny Garcia. To me, he's a solid B-level fighter, and I think Broner is just slightly above that. He's a B-plus guy.
Yeah, well, it's like I mentioned with Emmanuel Taylor. It's a similar type of situation, I think.
Yeah, again, I'd agree with that assessment. It's they're trying to build Broner up again, but obviously with Broner getting arrested and shit. The most surprising thing about that whole incident was that Broner shops in Walmart. I thought it'd be too expensive for that shit, but Broner is going to be Broner. He's always going to be a guy who's lack of discipline is going to cost him. It's already cost him, but it's going to actually cost him in terms of being able to walk about in fucking civilization. And it's time for the boxing public just to let that guy go, because he's not going to amount to anything. And for him to get this kind of platform just because he raps to the ring, it's not. I liked Broner's last performance actually, but he's really nothing for the boxing fan to wait until he gets his act together. He never is. Just don't waste your time, don't waste your energy. He's never going to get his act together. I'm not going to watch that fight the weekend.
That's actually on Friday. That one's on Friday night, Saturday morning in the UK. But I really hope Ashley Theo Payne beats him as a fellow Brit, but I don't think he will. And I think both guys might miss weight. More of Theo Payne than Broner, because Broner did come in weight last fight, but he has been looking a bit big. But Theo Payne hasn't made 140 for a while. Just checking on his box rec. He hasn't made 140 since 2014 against Daniel Kaladza, so that was an 8-rounder. Since then, he's always been a bit over. So I could see Theo Payne missing weight, and I don't know. Like I said earlier, I don't really care about the fight too tough. I can see Broner getting picked up by the cops at the media workout, man, because they know where he's gonna be, and they just come arrest him, and it'll just make the fight void or cancel the fight if he gets picked up. But is he officially on the run, Nota, or is it better for him not to just take his attorney and go to the police station?
No, I was just playing about the on the run thing, but I think they issued a warrant for his arrest. I don't think he was actually arrested yet, though.
So if I'm right in saying, I've not got the whole story, but Floyd Mayweather apparently ratted him out in a fight hype interview. No one knew about the situation, and then I think Floyd Mayweather just kind of dry snitched on him, if that's the term. He kind of ratted him out, pretended as if what was happening with Broner was public knowledge, and it wasn't.
I've not heard anything about that, to be honest.
Regardless, Floyd needs to just step back for Broner. Why would you? That seems quite a personal thing to do against somebody who you should really be mentoring, even if he does say some shit towards you.
I'm sick of this.
Floyd's never cared about Broner, man. That mentoring shit was all BS from the very beginning.
What are you saying, Lynn?
I'm just saying I'm just sick of their little fucking lovers, TMZ fucking tiff. I don't give a shit about either cunt. Honestly, I couldn't give a fuck about this fight. It's a fucking payday for Theo Payne. And all that other stuff that goes around on the outside of it is just fucking who gives a shit. I'm sorry to be, it's just nonsense, isn't it?
I just totally agree, Leo.
It's just fucking bullshit. Couldn't give a fuck. But what I am interested in is, on the Liverpool card, the return of Paul Smith Jr. in a 6-round light heavyweight fight. Now we're talking. Come on, let's break this one down.
you think that would be like the 7:30 fight, the first one on the bill?
It can't even be the first on. It's a 6th rounder, man. It's a... Who is this Mohammedi fought? He got beaten by James DeGale, and that's it, isn't it? And this is meant to be a step up. Is this a step up from the Rocky Fielding?
He lost
Really?
to Sedlotchka, how you pronounce his name, and someone else, Sanivia. So I don't know. It's not the greatest card, is it? What you got the Cardell Dodd rematch on there as well, and Rebras versus Fielding. It's like Eddie's matchmaking recently been. I know this is this eliminated this Mohammedi fight, I think, but
I believe so. Yeah.
The rest of his undercards are fucking terrible recently, man.
It's another struggle card, isn't it? I mean, it's just still the best card he's put on is that Skeet Eggington that has, regular Sky, and this is what we're dealing with. I mean, Rebras must love a bit of Eddie Hearn. He's done well off him.
He's paying his mortgage.
All his bills, man. Yeah, paid his mortgage.
Yeah, I see how the energy is drained from us just as we start to preview this weekend. It's not the greatest weekend. The Broner fight's on a Friday night.
Well,
so
I mean, I like that Broner undercard though. Easter versus Mendes is a good fight.
Mendes is pretty shot, I thought, and I've not seen him perform well for about 3 years, Naoto.
He just beat Miguel Vasquez last year.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he did. But yeah, that wasn't a great fight though.
Yeah, it wasn't. But I mean, he still beat a high-level operator, which is impressive enough. And then Gervonta Tank Davis, I'm curious to see how good that dude is, because oh my God, he got a 5-second clip on All Access, so he must be the greatest of all time, right?
Leon, is this? Have you checked if this is on Spike UK or is there another one?
Yeah, it is. Spike UK, but on Saturday evening.
So they're not picking it up live?
No, repeated Saturday evening, 10 o'clock.
No, that's not too bad because I got to work on Saturday anyway, so I'll probably just record it or watch it.
That'll do me.
Yeah.
When's Pacquiao Bradley? 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
No hype at all. I have no hype for that fight at all. I don't think Chemo even wants to do a Chemo special and he's a packed card as well.
That card is really good though too. That's a good card, top to bottom.
It is. I'm interested in the Abraham versus Gilberto fight.
That's a good fight.
Yeah, him and then Valdez versus Gradovich.
I know Gradovich is shot for me, so I'm not really too hyped about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just curious to see how Valdez looks, against a high-level guy. Maybe we can compare that to how Diaz looked against Velez, too, since they're two guys on the collision course fighting against two guys that fought already.
That's
and
true.
And Jose Ramirez is really good, too.
Yep.
It's really what's happened to Pacquiao's career has been somewhat of a disaster from a public relations standpoint. It's like that old saying, you live long enough to... When you're a hero, you become the villain. It's just a shame. No hype, no kind of prestige, no kind of Rocky VI moment where he's really taken a standing ovation from the crowd. Thanks for your services to boxing. None of that shit. No one gives a fuck.
Well, because he failed. Because the reason why Pacquiao became such a huge crossover star was because he was, supposed to be Luke Skywalker defeating Darth Vader, and he failed. So it's cruel. It's harsh when you fail at something that is your public task. That people, it's like they get all moralistic about it, and that's the reason why. That's a big part of the reason why I always really got annoyed with a lot of these guys that liked to call themselves fans, and they really weren't. They were just people that hated Mayweather enough that that they supported Pacquiao, but they really didn't give a shit about Pacquiao in the first fucking place.
Yeah, okay, I kind of see your point of view. I suppose I was never a fan of Pacquiao. I was just really kind of interested in the rivalry between him and Floyd more than Pacquiao himself. He's been a great service to boxing, Manny, but ultimately he should have retired years ago as soon as Juan Manuel Marquez knocked him out. all this is in the last couple of years has just been like a kind of needless lap. A needless lap of honor. He got the Floyd fight, great, but you know that fight has left such a kind of bitter taste in a lot of boxing fans' mouth. It's almost as if boxing would have been better off with it not happening.
That's actually true. I agree with that.
But anyway, I mean, onwards and upwards. I tell you what, this weekend's fights have got me re-energized in boxing. I'm just kind of getting that feel again. Like even on the internet, on the other podcasts I listen to, and on the internet forums, and I've got that energy back. I feel as if the Ward Kovalev situation is good for boxing. It's like it's got people talking.
Because they're picking up the torch that got dropped with the whole Floyd Manny shit.
Exactly.
After all those years.
And it's
that, and also, I mean, the heavyweights too. The heavyweight situation has picked up a lot.
Exactly.
You know, picked up a lot of that too.
There's a lot of things in the Kovalev Ward situation. A lot of kind of themes. Is it racial? Is it, do you like puncher? Do you like boxer? Is it Russia? Is it America? There's a lot of kind of underlying themes and shit. Is it Rocky? Is it fucking Rocky 4 guy?
Drago?
Yeah, is it Drago? Yeah, a lot of kind of shit like that. I love that. I love it. I love the fucking pot brewing. And I disagree with Dan earlier saying he wants that soon. I want it to brew a wee bit more. Just a wee bit more. Get the maximum out of the marination, because I think they're going to beat everyone else. And then at the start of 2017, then we can have it. I think it's too soon.
That's too long, man.
That's bullshit.
This winter, November, December.
Yeah, November, December. I wouldn't mind December, actually. I mean, even if they wanted to push it back to December, I think that's perfect, because there's almost always a really good card in December. You know, like maybe at the beginning of the month, and that would be an excellent way to cap off the year.
That's AJ's month. You can't touch those dates. They're lined up.
Maybe Ward.
Wembley Stadium's booked.
Ward versus Kova could be on AJ's undercard.
There you go. I think they should just get on with it now. Fuck it. Fight in September, October.
Nice.
Just do it. Just get on with it. Because Ward might say he needs another tune-up fight, but it's just. I can't bother to wait anymore because they've got no one really to fight, because they're not going to fight anyone dangerous to put that fight at risk. So let's just do it now.
I'll tell you what, I totally agree with you. Right, I totally agree with you, but Andre Ward is the last great American fighter. Right, there will never be another guy like that. He is the last of a generation, the last Olympic gold medalist, the last guy with that kind of skills. Everybody thought Floyd was the last, but then came Andre Ward. I don't see another guy like Andre Ward coming through. I think that guy's the last. And therefore you need to protect that.
What about Spence?
You need to...
Spence
Nah. Kell Brook, he's got Kell Brook problem.
Crawford?
Nah. He gets hit too much. Crawford gets hit flush way too much. Way too much. Andre Ward, five times in a fight. 30-minute fight, he gets hit 5 times.
He got hit more than that this fight.
6 times.
When has Crawford been hit flush loads of times? I wouldn't say loads.
Only against that little Cuban.
No, against Lundy too. Lundy was hitting him with that overhand right a lot in the first round.
Yeah, but it's not like throughout 12 rounds. He got hit a few times in the first, and he adjusted and then fucked him up.
Yeah, I think you may be exaggerating a little bit. I mean, I think there's several guys on the horizon that are actually really good. I think Marcus Brown is really good.
No, I heard him.
Yes, you have.
He's an up-and-coming light heavyweight. Chew, come on.
I've never heard of Marcus Brown. Who's that?
Kev, he boxes in the gym. Kev mentions him all the time.
He's not another Andre Ward. Come on, man. Sorry, Kev. No, he's not.
All right,
Lubin. This guy Lubin that everybody's talking about. No.
Erickson Lubin.
Yeah, no thanks. I'm not buying stock in that.
All right, let's.
What I'm talking about is that skill. No, just before we go, that skill set. That skill set to make the matrix in the ring. You know, like fucking in and out, not get hit. You know what I mean? I don't see anyone like that. From American perspective, I see Lomachenko doing that and the Eastern Europeans doing that. I don't see any American coming through with that matrix type stuff. Anyway.
All right, let's get some final thoughts and get out of here. Naota, any final thoughts for us?
I mean, I summed up pretty much everything I wanted to say, so there it is.
All right, thank you. Leon?
Yeah, it's just been a shit week. That Blackwell stuff's horrible. Although it was a great fight, but you feel horrible saying that, don't you? Because it was just so wrong. And then we lost Fife from Tribe Called Quest, and Gary Shandling died, who did Larry Sanders. So all-round rubbish week.
Yep.
Sucked.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you,
Rest
Leon.
in peace.
Yeah,
RP to Fife.
Yeah, man.
Rest in peace. Chu, any final thoughts, young man?
Yep. Shout out to Nick Blackwell. Hope you get well soon, my man. You're an absolute warrior.
Yep.
They took you out in a Stetzer. They should have took you out in your Shield because you fucking deserved that honour. I know he's going to make a comeback. He's a fighter and a half, and that. It just goes to show. I mean, we can talk a good game, fucking really giving our correspondence on these fights, but the guys who step in the ring, man, they're fucking warriors. And you know, fucking everything we say should be taken with a grain of salt when it comes to these guys, because after taking 4 rounds of that, I would have gave you Chris Eubank Jr. my car keys, my house keys, my fucking everything, man. Anything he wanted, I would have gave it to
your
Chris
mortgage.
My mortgage, yeah.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, but you know, fucking Nick Blackwell bit on his gum shield and fucking got on with it, man. That's fucking. There is no fucking. Whatever happens with Nick Blackwell in life, he can say, okay, I got tested and I came through it. I didn't buckle. Someone had to stop the fight for me because I wasn't going anywhere. So I mean, respect to Nick Blackwell for that. And another kind of news, Amir Khan. If you've seen the latest pictures of Amir Khan, he's on roids.
He's not on roids.
Have you seen the pictures, Cam?
He's hench, bro. He's hench.
I thought it was a Photoshop. His head looks so small.
Someone needs to do one of those David Price photoshops where, you know, his head's tiny in the
Khan
t-shirt.
has a really long neck, so it's like, you know, it doesn't help matters.
Yeah, I guess he's in a putting on weight phase, but he needs to be careful because there's only really 4 weeks of training left because the last week's more media work. And it doesn't seem like he's been working with Virgil. It just seems like he's been beefing up and just trying to put weight on. And obviously he's going to have to, when you put muscle mass on, you put a bit of fat on with it. So he's going to be in a cutting stage soon. So when's he doing all the technical shit with Virgil? When's that going to happen? So
he's pulling the Chavez camp move, isn't he?
He's going to be watching TV in the middle of the night,
out the way and hit the mitts,
eating cereal in his.
Get a big mixing bowl out to get the cereal in. How many fucking liters of milk can I get in here?
Yeah,
pass me that joint.
It's all good, pops. I'm already trained today.
I can just imagine Amir Khan in like a weightlifting gym with a vest on and fucking going like, my gains. I'm gonna way up to the mirror, my gains. The fucking protein bar in the other hand, my gains.
Hodgkin style.
His eyes rolling in the back of his head, just fully roided off his tits. I'm only fucking around, man.
All right, I want to thank you guys for jumping on the show today. I want to thank all the people in the chat and all the people that download the show week in, week out. We'll be back next week.